It's the Tonya Burns Show. Tune in right now. Like and share, our city needs that vow. Flint City News got truth to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up, we're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tonya Burns won't stand out in the rain. Our city dreams will make them true. With every step it all renews. In a step it all renews.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How y'all doing this morning? Listen, if you woke up today and you were blessed to get out of your bed, praise the Lord. And we got an exciting show. It's gonna be we're not gonna be on all day today either, because I want y'all to go spend time with y'all family. Because I did. We're gonna start out today. We're gonna have a special guest, and we're gonna have Mercedes Kinee. And she's going to talk about table etiquette with girls and with little girls. So first of all, drop in the chat where you're from. Put where you're from. So listen, VIP with Melissa Zaremski, Tasha Lynn, Diane Thornton. Where is Debbie? Kathleen Trouser, Patrick G. What's up? Listen, y'all know my chat be behind. So we had a little technical difficulty. I want to send a shout out to my producer Jay, Sydney Green. Good morning. Producer Jay, R. Murphy, BB Madden, Auntie M, Good or Black. You was one of the first people in there. Listen, we did have some technical difficulty. Is Mercedes still in there? Did she drop off?
No, I was just waiting on you to do your.
Okay, so I want to send everybody. Look, I'm gonna send some love to everybody, because everything should be done with love. Love literally does trump hate and being dysfunctional and being divisive. So I'm sending out love this morning to everybody. Despite everything that's going on, I'm gonna send some love. So I'm gonna bring in Producer Jay. Anything you want to say this morning?
No, ma'am. Good morning, everybody.
Maybe I got too much excitement. So anyway, listen, I want y'all to welcome in, because we're going to talk about something that's really, really needed. A lady that is really special to me. So let's bring her in. Please bring her in. Her name is Miss Mercedes Kinee. She's known for those famous cheesecake. Oh, you're looking pretty and yellow this morning. Oh,
thank you.
Thank you for being here. So this is Miss Mercedes Kinee. She is famous for cheesecake. And now she has a new, I would say, venture, because you've worn many hats in your life.
Yes.
You are now training and teaching an etiquette class for young girls who normally wouldn't have an opportunity. You have created an opportunity for young girls.
Yes.
And I think this is just great. So let me put a pin in it right there. I work with you. Attorney Trishelle Young, Tracy Frazier, Cookie, which is real name Ida Simmons, and who else did we have on there?
We had Alice.
We did.
Alice Evans. Yeah. Right.
And so we worked with a group, and we were at Hamady High School.
Right.
And we Sisters Seeking Success. And a
Right.
part of that was you taught etiquette and table
Yeah.
manners to the
Yeah.
young lady there.
Yes.
Absolutely. So now you went on, you're now teaching it to little girls who need it, that are in our neighborhood, who normally wouldn't be exposed or have this opportunity. You're teaching it at Whaley's house, which I
Right.
think is fabulous. So if people
Right.
don't know where Whaley's house is at, it's on the corner of Kersley. Is it Lewis or Selby? It's right by the library, not a block or two away from the Flint Public Library.
It would be west of the library on the same street. Yes. Right at the expressway.
So you got the flow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Tonya Burns, for having me. And I feel so privileged because this was something that I asked God again for. And each time that I have been successful in making the best cheesecakes inside of heaven, is that because He gave me that talent. And as I was looking at the prices of cream cheese and how I wasn't able to make cheesecakes like I used to, I said, Lord, give me another talent. And the talent was help some other young ladies how to be young ladies. And I said, okay, because I did this before with other people. I said, let me see what I can do. But He said, start with a younger age. So the younger age, I said, all right. So it became from 10 to 15 years of age. And I said, 10 years old. But I found out there were young ladies at the age of 10 years old also needed what I was going to be offering. So I set out not knowing what I was going to do. So I researched it. I went on the computer to find out all about beautiful young ladies, table etiquette and manners, and debutante, and all the other things that went along with that. And I saw that there was no program that offered young ladies how to be young ladies, or how to speak, or how to act, how to fold a napkin, how to sit down in a chair, or which fork to eat with, which spoon to eat with, all these things on the table. And I also found out that McDonald's taught us that there was a knife, fork, and a spoon in every package. And most of the young ladies that I'm dealing with had never been sitting down, had never been able to sit down to eat with a real fork, a real knife, a real spoon. So how did I get on? And they wanted to know, Ms. Burns, how do you get these here young ladies to come to your class? I have a big mouth, and I spoke to the parents. I spoke to people that I didn't even know in the grocery stores, on the streets, wherever, in stores, wherever I was at. And family members said, do you know anyone with small kids? And they would say, yes. So I say, can I speak to the mothers about what I'm doing and see if they would be interested in these young kids, young ladies to come to my program? I was overwhelmed, Miss Burns, with the fact that they were just excited. They said, oh, yes, I want to sign my daughter. And then I need to sign myself up. I said, no, baby. I said, I'm not taking no dust yet. I said, I'm only taking the kids. I said, I hear what you're saying, but right now I can't do you. But I won't like to do your babies, So give me your babies. They did. And I started with 3. I had to stop at 8. I had to stop at 8. That was the spring program. Then on top of that, nobody gonna give me no money because they figure I'm gonna just make a cheesecake, so they were gonna give me no money. So I spent all of my money, and then I went to my husband. I said, "Can I borrow some money from you?" So he said, "You ain't got no money to pay me back." I said, "Don't worry about it." I said, "God got this whole thing." I said, "So you just hang on." I said, "We're gonna do it. We're gonna get it done."
So how often do the girls meet?
We meet once a week because of finances. This is in the spring program. The summer program, Ms. Burns, is for 2 days. We had to shorten the spring program because we didn't get any money and didn't qualify. There's not a program out there for young ladies to become young ladies. There are programs to fix up your house, to paint your front porch, to put you windows in your house, to put a roof on your house, but there's nothing for the people that live in a house. And that's what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with the organization that has nothing for people that live inside of the house. It's all for the outside appearance. So I don't qualify for their program. So I went to a sponsorship. To sponsor one girl is $65. You can go up to 10 girls. That one girl sponsored is, I'm going to show you a dress.
Hold on
This
just a
is,
second before you do that. That's what I want to do. Let's put a pin in it because I want people to see the video. And then we'll
okay,
come back
all right,
and we'll talk about it. So,
all
Producer
right.
Jay, can you play the video? Thank you, Patrick Jean, for the
Children in Flint are
$50.
spending some of their spring break learning all about being their best selves. The kids spent the evening in a table and etiquette manners class at the Whaley Historic House Museum, hosted by Madam Mercedes Kinee. The class teaches the long lost art of etiquette from napkin folding, table manners, and other social graces. She says the class is also teaching confidence for a bright future.
When they grow up, at least the ones that I can teach and come in contact with, they'll learn how to appreciate others when they become men and women and young ladies and young men. They'll learn how to appreciate someone else without being afraid of them or feel alienated from each other.
Students will spend the next 10 weeks learning from Madam Mercedes Kinee.
So listen, I'm impressed. I'm like, look at them with their little gloves on.
Yes,
They got
yes.
their gloves on. And look, I know that Beverly Lewis is watching. So I'm gonna put a pin. Beverly, these nails are still on. I only pop one. She was like, girl, get them nails done. And I'm gonna show that later, the link to her daughter, who actually made sure that Tonya Burns had some nails because I've been busy, y'all. But the gloves, the lace gloves, they had the hats. I was like, it warmed my heart. It really did. Because when you go out to dinner, I mean, don't you kind of bougie. I mean, but that's okay.
You know something, I try to set a great standard and call Madame Mercedes because it's the importance that I feel that they should have. And being the representative for them, I should be speaking very proudly about who they are. And I appreciate you having us on today. And I'm representing 8 young ladies. We were donated some dresses, some gorgeous dresses, Miss Burns, that for these young ladies. And a lot of the young ladies are more thicker in the waist than the young ladies used to be, I'd say 15 years ago. So we have dresses that they're gorgeous, but they don't fit. So we went to Tots and Lot and asked them to please, could they work with us? And she agreed to it. So I asked I sent in their package where to go to get their wrist corsages and their dresses from. We don't have shoes. The dresses are not in yet, some of the dresses. And some of the parents, and I'm saying this here on a grandmother's perspective, some of the parents cannot afford, because they have 3 and 4 kids, and the oldest little girl cannot afford a dress. I'm going to stand on every corner if I have to make sure I get a dress for my girls to graduate in May the 18th. And I need 8 dresses and 8 pair of shoes. They need the stockings. They need the hair done. So some of the mothers said, we'll do the curls. I told them, ain't no braids on their hair. So this day they got to have curls, and they got to put so we can put a little beautiful hat on them, and their gloves. And I have the white gloves and the pink gloves, because the dresses has to be white or pink. And I have the pearls to go with them, because they have to clutch their pearls, and these are going to be the first of this annual. I'm going to try in my summer program, I'm going to have up to 12 girls. I want to make sure Flint stands out with our young girls, our young ladies. They can talk about everything else that goes on in this city. I don't care about it. They don't care about the politics of Flint. They don't care about the people who live in Flint. They don't care about nothing else but looking pretty. And that's exactly what I'm doing.
Okay, hold on just a second. So you are very passionate. So you need dresses for the girls.
Dresses,
so maybe
shoes.
Yeah, well, let me get to
Okay,
that.
go ahead,
So you
baby,
need
go ahead.
dresses, and you need 8 dresses, and you need sponsors for the 8 because people are
Hey,
asking how do they donate, and I'm gonna put that up in the show before she's off. We're gonna put that up how to donate, and that goes directly to her. I want to say thank you, Johnny G, for the $49.99. We appreciate you. So you need to have 8 dresses. You need shoes. You want
yeah.
stockings, right?
These are young ladies. They have the pretty
I
little
still wear
stuff.
stockings, but Arthur Woodson be thinking it funny. He called me an airline stewardess because I still wear stockings. I do, but my legs be covered. You be calling my legs little white legs, but anyway,
We won't talk about that, young lady. We will not talk about that.
she is, and I want people to know Mercedes is a very formal person, and this is where it comes from her heart. We do birthday dinners, me, you, and Aquana, and I'm like, I don't want to go into. She's going to want to go somewhere where they have creme brulee, or hollandaise sauce. And I'm like,
You
I
have
don't
to
need
tell
that.
that.
But this is who you are because you love to cook. You are a cook, and your table manners. You are passionate, and you've been doing this. I think when we started
Yes,
with Michelle, that class was for young girls. It was much we covered etiquette. Etiquette was a portion of it, but now
great.
you need help for these young girls. You need
Yes,
shoes. You need hats.
yes,
You need
yes,
socks or tights. You want
yes.
pearls. You want the girls. We need some beauticians who can volunteer to please donate their time to do their hair or to do
Great.
it at a discount price. Look, we got Queen Bougie in here. Stephanie is in here. She says, tell Mercedes I want to help. I will get with her after the show. See, when we put it out, hey, Niecy, Denise Moore is in here. That is Reverend Daniel Moore's wife, but I was before she was Reverend. That's why she was my good friend. But anyways, so you need to get hats, shoes,
Great.
stockings. You already have the pearls, so they can clutch
Great.
the
We
pearls,
have the gloves. We have the gloves as well.
and you have the
We have
gloves.
the
So
gloves.
you have the
We don't
gloves.
have the corsages. We don't have the corsages. And I want to put something
You
out
need how
here.
many corsages do you need?
I need 8. And let me say this here. I call Votes Florists, who has known me for making cheesecakes and using their florists for 100 years of Glen. And they said to me, well, Mercedes, we don't give discounts. I said, I never asked you for a discount. I never asked for a discount. So I am not using Votes Flour again, not in this life. They can stay there. But the thing is trying to help a young little black girl out here that does not have the proper etiquette, that doesn't have the proper dress that she's going to be wearing, and she's going to walk down those beautiful stairs and be escorted to her parents.
Hold on. We got somebody. Look, shout out to Debbie. Oh, Debbie, look, it's Debbie and Diane Thornton. They're the twins. She says, I can do the corsages. So you getting help in the chat. You probably can't see the chat because I'm gonna put
I
the
can't
number
see
up.
the chat.
So and corsages are they're getting the wrist ones.
They're
Usually,
wrist corsages, yes.
and
And they
generally
all
they're
with
carnations and a rose.
real roses, small roses,
Yeah.
with beautiful with some ribbon on it, and and a few
What
baby
I'm going to
scraps.
give you, she's going to, at the end, I'm going to give everyone the number because you got people. Ty Evans said, 76 said, how can I help? And so everyone, before it's over, we're going to put up the number. So you have the dresses. Can you show the dresses? I know you were
I
showing
have, yes, this dress here, dress here is one of the few dresses. If you can see it, it's one of the few dresses. It's a gorgeous dress that was given to us, and it only can fit one girl. Then I have this other dress, which is a white dress, which is actually not a white, but a cream dress here. This fits another girl. This here, another young lady. You see the length? These are lengthy dresses with petticoats because young ladies are supposed to wear a petticoat when they come out, when they're coming out. And they're not supposed to wear dresses that looks like it's for a 20-year-old lady, all tight fitted. These are for beautiful young ladies. And you understand, ladies, what I mean by beautiful young ladies. This is what I'm talking about. This is what Mercedes, Madame Mercedes is talking about. She's talking about beautiful young ladies, and these dresses here are for beautiful young ladies. They're not for young ladies that are not young ladies. And I'm saying that with all emphasis as a grandmother, you know, and I'm showing these here because this is what debutante young ladies, and we have no one here that says, I want my young lady or my girl or my whoever to be a young lady and to come out and look so beautiful and walk down some stairs with her beautiful dress on and her
So,
hair pretty.
so tell me about the day that they will be wearing the dresses. What's going
It's
to happen
Sunday.
the
It's
day they're
on
going
a
to be?
Sunday. It's on a Sunday, May the 18th. On the 17th, my 8 young ladies and I are going in to set the table. You will receive they need I'm proud of what people are here thinking about, but these young ladies need to know that they're going to be dressed for that day. And
So what will happen that
I
day? They're gonna set the
they
table.
they and then we're gonna set the tables and we're gonna make sure they use it. We have real linen, real napkins. They learn how to fold napkins, and I had my son Lynn Frazier taught him how to fold a napkin because he has all the books. I gave him the books on teaching him how to fold a napkin. We have learned how to fold a napkin, set a table. We know how to eat with a knife and a fork, how to continue to eat with a knife and a fork. These young ladies has learned this here in, I would say, less than a month. Come on now, less than a month.
That
They know how to
they
come out
want to
and
learn.
sit
They
at a
want to
table
learn.
and eat.
Yeah, they want to learn. Water seeks its own love. We give them this, then that's what they're going to absorb. And
Right.
helping them to do this and how we as women, portray ourselves, they see this. They absorb that. And so seeing them in their beautiful dresses, and their shoes and having a hat adorned upon their head, little girls being young ladies, being what they should be, not twerking it up,
N-
and all that.
Right.
Look, your
And
daughter ain't supposed to dress like you when you in the club.
there's no
That's
cell phones in our class. No cell phones.
wow. Oh, ooh.
None.
No, okay.
No
You got
cell
that
phones.
down. Gotta honor
No.
that.
No, you can't have a cell phone there. This is not something. And the parents comes in and see what they're doing. And I've had attorneys adopt and being sponsors. And I'm gonna use the word sponsor, become a sponsor. That sponsor means that your name goes on the board and everyone, the day of graduation, get to see, and I speak out all the names of the sponsors. And the
So how
sponsor
much?
gets invited.
How
It's
much is?
$65 per student.
Hold on, let me get it out, Mercedes. She's like, y'all, she passionate. So to sponsor a young lady for this beautiful event for this class is $65 per child. If you
$65 per student,
per student, per young lady. So if
per
you
young
are,
lady.
and we're going to put
Yes.
the number up, her contact information. I don't have, look, I support it 100%. So we're looking for yes. So if y'all are up, say we can keep talking while we leave that up. So producer Jay, leave that up because we still got some more
Yes.
talking to do. So because everyone keeps asking and I can't keep up in the chat. So contact Table and Etiquette Manners for girls. That's the number. But y'all, she on right now, so don't call her right now. So
Now,
don't call right
don't
now.
call
When
me
we
now.
get off,
Don't call me
write
right
that
now.
number down. Write that
But
number down. So leave
but
that up, producer Jay. So it
yes,
costs $65 for child. So you need shoes, some more dresses, because the young
yes,
girls now,
yes.
and well, we have a problem with they're larger. McDonald's and Burger King and
They
all
have
that. It
made
lies
their
around your
waist
waist.
they
And
have
kids
made young
don't.
ladies thicker than what they used to be when grandma and mom them cooked dinners and they
So
cooked on the
kids don't.
stove.
Kids do not go outside and play anymore like they did.
No,
They
they don't
are
do that.
on their computers watching the TV, so they're not
Right,
getting the exercise like we did. Every
right,
day we played when we were little. It was every day
right.
we did Master Park. We lived when I was a very little girl. right by Oak Park, which we donated. I donated the sign back with my dad. We donated the sign back last week to Oak Park, so that could be for generations. So plan in those parks. Oh, you got a number. I'll give her your number. Wait a minute. He said, give her my number. Lentil Law Group will sponsor all 8.
What?
So, but she continues to do this. Yes, so I'll give you his number. I will give you his number. Stephanie's she says, how many persons do you need? So look, I'm gonna give y'all all her number. So you got paid for the community is coming out for you. Thank y'all. Thank you. So, but let's talk. Thank you, everybody. But we're gonna keep this going. So you are being blessed because you are a blessing to us. So you can also donate. Yeah, look, producer Jay, y'all give it up for producer Jay.
Yes, please do. Please do, because he helped me get on TV on the show this morning. I'm so appreciative of him. He is such a kind man. Such a kind man.
So how long will the program be? So the young ladies, you're going to be teaching etiquette. They're going to have the table manners. So what is the program?
The spring program ends on June the 7th. It's on a Wednesday, our last program for spring. Our summer program starts 2 weeks later, and it goes into August. Now, the summer program is 2 days a week at the Whaley Historic House Museum. And they gave me that place free of charge. And I want to tell the world, I walked in there and I sat down with the gentleman and that runs the place. And I said, this is what I would like to do. He says, you know something? I always wanted to do that, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. I said, well, here I am. I said, let's get it going. So he went to his board of directors and he said, I have this lady named Mercedes Kinee. And they said, well, I know because she made cheesecakes. And he said, no, she's not making no cheesecakes. They said, she wants to bring some girls here to teach them etiquette. And they said, oh, okay. And she brings some cheesecakes. I said, well, whatever, So cheesecakes has gotten me into doors, ladies and gentlemen, that I would have never been able to enter. But because of my God and my Savior, Jesus Christ, he has gotten me into doors that I quit General Motors with 15 years on salary to do this years ago because I made a covenant with him. So I made a covenant with him to do these girls.
So you do brokering deals with God too, huh?
Yes. This here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first of our annual. This is the first. I will continue this till I leave this world. I will continue to do this for these young ladies in Flint, Michigan, where they say it's nothing good that happens here. Yes, there is. They're beautiful, beautiful young women that lives here. Yes.
So producer Jay, I just sent you a picture of Whaley's house. And so this is where it will be at.
Yes.
Whaley's house, which is a historical house.
Yes.
A Victorian mansion.
Yes.
Which has been renovated. So this is where the girls will be at.
Yes. Yes.
We had a very bad fire there, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And
they did.
They were repairing the roof, and the roofing company caught it on fire, but they saved it. They've restored it back. And this is where the young ladies will be sitting at the table, adorned with their hats, their gloves,
and their parents, and the guests. Anyone who donates to this becomes a sponsor, is invited to come and be part of the event. That's the first time event that's going to be happening for Flint. Beautiful, beautiful young ladies.
So anybody that sees, we put that up. So this is, and this is, I remember now what year Whaley House was built in, but it's a Victorian mansion. And when we learn that we have to take care of each other. You used to go Stepping Stone, Hamity House, and you'll hear people say, oh, I was in Stepping Stones or Hamity House. That's where they taught etiquette. Hamity, down the street from you, as a matter of fact, that that stone
Yes.
house, the Hamity house.
Yes. Yes.
The
Yes.
stone house.
Yes. It's on
Yeah,
Woodland Park Drive. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
The Henry
And
House. Yes.
yeah. And so what they did was created stepping stones and the Hamity house where you learn etiquette as a young girl. You learn to
Yes.
walk, you learn how to sit properly, cross your
Yes.
legs, you learn how to set a table, you learn how
Yes.
to use the silverware, your
Right.
different cups, how to drink out of a teacup, or so you learn so much where dinner is served and where your plate is served from, where it's picked up from, if you're serving someone. It taught you how to be a young lady. We
Yes.
didn't have twerking then, and back then things are more formal. You learn a lot of things like a finishing school. Absolutely, DeAndre.
Right.
Look at it. If I didn't say to y'all, DeAndre, Christine Leach, if I have not mentioned y'all names, it's because I cannot keep up with the chat and then the guests. But thank y'all for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's like a finishing school. And so where you learn that where you go out to dinner where they may be serving hollandaise sauce or creme brulee, or if you, or if there's or if you're going to Ruth Chris, or if you're going down to with a Fogo de Chao, or if you're going down to the oh my God, it's the favorite they have I like for their martinis. Oh my God. It says Somerset. What is anyway?
Eddie's.
Eddie V's.
Mm-hmm.
And God, it's another one. God, I can't think of the name right now. It's anyways, you'll know how you won't be uncomfortable when they put all these, different plates here. Actually, we have Fandango's here, which is a small private restaurant that's in Flushing. And that one, it's the same. You will have your dessert spoon at the top. And in between
Right.
they give you orange or sorbet or sherbet to clean your palate. You
Right.
you know what to do with a 3-course meal, a 5-course meal, and
Right.
a 9-course meal. I've had a 9-course meal before. And so, but it was paired with different wines along the way. And so you will know Rooster and Rattlesnake. It's another one, Steph. I can't think, I love it. I don't know where my brain is at. But you will know what to do when you go to these restaurants, and you won't fear them because you will already know when you walk in. She's teaching these ladies to where they can raise their heads high, just as those who may have more money. They don't know you don't have that money or whatever, but you got the class. And that is what you're teaching these young ladies that will carry them all the way through. But hold on, y'all. I need y'all to click this like button to push this out, to push it out. Push it out because we need to share good things in our community. So let's push this out. Hit that like button. We should be we got over 100 people watching. We should be able to get at least 100 likes. So someone asked on here, I hope you also touch on appropriate language, time, and place, and how to address elders or anyone. Now that's a good one. Do you talk about that, Madam Mercedes Kinee? Do you talk about language with the young lady?
We speak about how they speak to each other. At first, how they speak to each other, and what they like and dislike about each other. It tells me a lot when I do my program. I actually have a written paper that I can measure the success of my class by, and that deals with their parents. Do you see any changes since they've been coming? And I have the most positive reinforcement on those when I read those reports when they gave them back, how the parents see the changes and the attitudes, the listening part of mom and dad trying to teach them something. They're starting to listen more, being cooperative, helping out. These are things that I address that are prevalent to today, what they do at home. And I have the grandparents that brings the children to the class because mom is working and she's got to make that payment and bring the bacon in. So the grandparents drops the children off, but they come inside because you have to bring them inside to me. You just can't leave them out there in the parking lot. And I get to speak to the grandparents. And we now have established a relationship with the grandparents that I think it was better than what they had prior to bringing driving the little kids, the young ladies to my class. Grandparents are very important, young lady people out there in the audience, and Tonya Burns' audience. Grandparents are very important because they're the fillers for you young people that goes to work, that don't have the time. Really, you just can't take the time because you're so busy trying to bring the food in and paying the bills. Grandparents are so important. So, and what I do is I feed the grandparents just like I feed the kids every time they come. And I get to talk to them and get them to intermingle with their children. That is putting them together. That's bonding them. Yes, I do that. And it's fabulous. It's fabulous. Oh, and I keep moving my cell phone to my face.
That's okay, because I want to put back up because I want people to know I call you my other mother, and I always have.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
we have a
Always
very,
been you. I got a
yeah,
lot of you ladies that I adopted. Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
And so I appreciate everything that you do and of yourself because you have your own family in addition, but you are still in the community, still moving forward. You actually you give a lot. You get involved. And someone put in the chat, it wasn't first ward, it was seventh ward. It was seventh ward she ran from. So
Yes.
she lives in the seventh ward. And so
Yes.
I appreciate. So if you want to contact Madam Mercedes Kinee for table etiquette and manners for girls, the number is 810-223-8454. And then Mercedes, I'll share John's number with you. And so what do you want to close out and say? I know
Thank
time
you.
goes so quick.
I
told
know
them I
it
was not
does.
doing
It
the
does.
20 hour
It does.
today.
I just want to thank you. First I want to thank the Lord. I want to thank my God, Jesus Christ, and then I want to thank Miss Tonya Burns, and I want to thank Mr. J, and I want to thank all you listeners out there. I want to thank everyone that can hear my voice, that believes that the Lord sent me, and I'm doing what He asked me to do. I'm standing in for those young ladies who is not here. And I thank you for every nickel, every dollar, every $5 you can send in. Send whatever you can. It's not the $65. It's the $1 that adds up to be 65. So just send in whatever you can send in. And I guarantee you this, Channel 12, I got to give it to them because every time I call them and tell them I want them to come out, they say, we'll be there. They just come. They change their programs to make sure they come to bring our young ladies to the world. So please help me. Please help
Well,
me.
here's the thing where you have said, I see what's happening in the community and I'm going to be a change maker. You
Yes.
are a change maker. You saw the
Yes.
problem. We have
Yes.
talked about it. And what you're saying is, look, your daughters are grown and your granddaughter, Tracy, and you.
Yes. Yes.
Is really
Yes.
like your daughter.
Yes.
No, it's really like your daughter. And you say, hey, you know what? Let me be a change maker. And you are literally changing lives for the positive. So taking the little girls who may normally, they know how to do them hustle songs. Because last night my niece was trying to teach me, y'all, I ain't got no rhythm. I mean, I can't. Look, I'm gonna have to. My black card is over in storage because I ain't had time to learn the dances. But we see you saying, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you and your child, your granddaughter, the skill that I have, and teach them so they can pass it on, so that young ladies know how to act accordingly and to be like young ladies and to be graceful.
Yes.
To present themselves with a sense of self-worth.
Yes.
That their worth is more than them twerking, bouncing their booties, snapping their heads, and all that sazz and razzmatazz. So
one thing may I say one thing before we go, please? These are, if you can see, these are the pink gloves that they wear, and these are long gloves that I have purchased for them. And Miss Tonya Burns, if we could do for all the other programs we have, I'm not asking for a lot. I'm asking for something that these young ladies, they eat every day from when they get out of school because they're hungry, and I'm gonna feed them. I don't care. If my charge card runs, max it out. I'm going to feed these kids. And the reason I'm asking for the funds for their dresses is because it's 8 of them, and I cannot
you
afford.
got sponsors all in here, and so you got people, and I'm going to share them numbers. So while I'm going on to my next, I'm going to share these numbers with you so that you will have them. But you still have more you have more classes. So the money,
yes, I have more classes.
If we are blessed, which we're gonna claim it in the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus.
That you're gonna get more than you need to carry over to the next class. Because
yes, ma'am.
You're doing this. Are you doing this year round?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I am. So
this will be a year-round class
program for young ladies, for our city of Flint, Michigan young ladies. This is what it's for.
Because we don't have that. Lord knows, we don't. Lord knows some folks I know need it. some grown ones need it.
It is some grown ones that need it. But I'm going to take the babies right now. I'm only doing babies. I'm only doing babies. I mean, you got to be from 10 to 15, and after that, that's 10 to 15. I mean, and I'm stopping. I know there's some young ladies that really need this class, some moms that needs this class. However,
it is a one-time payment of $65. It's not $65 because I'm looking at the check.
Right.
But listen, what everyone needs to do, her number is up there. Call her to work out however payment you want to make out with her.
And we're 501c3 nonprofit, and I have the papers, and I have a receipt.
In good standing. For how many years?
Good standing. And I have been this over 30 years, a nonprofit.
Hold up. So over 30 years, you are a true nonprofit, and you're
nonprofit.
And you are in good standing.
In good standing with the state of Michigan and Internal Revenue. And you get a receipt for all the money you put in. You get a receipt with my EIN number on it. So you don't have to worry if I'm real. Check me out. Look me up.
I think you even have a Duns and Bragg number. Is it Duns and Bragg number? What is it? Anyway,
EIN number. My EIN number is 01-08.
Don't get that out. Don't get that. It does. You got your nonprofit to where it's credit worthy, to show that you are responsible with your nonprofit. And so that's my point I'm saying. Because I do not get behind people. Y'all know your girl will. I do not. Now I get poverty pay for my job, but if nothing else, I know I'm rich in my community and helping them. And that is my pay, that I can give something back to the community. And you giving this course and say, you know what? Let me do this. Because it's needed. And they receive, and not only that, your presence in front of the young ladies is teaching them itself to respect your elders.
Yes.
Your elders.
Yes.
And that is something that we don't have. Like these young kids nowadays, the slickness with their mouth and their words.
Yes.
Last time I got slapped in church, I was like 20. And we literally had hung out, me and my cousins and some of my friends. You didn't miss church. And we went to church. We was hungover, y'all. I'm just saying, that's just the truth. But my mother reached back, that 2 pews back.
Yes.
that part. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get into the church part. But anything you want to close with, if you want to contact Madam Mercedes Kinee, you can contact her at Table Etiquette and Manners for Girls. So Mercedes, Madam Mercedes, I want to thank you for being my guest this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having the foresight to come on here, and that just to see the young ladies in the hats at the table, at the wedding house, with the gloves on. To me, it's something so beautiful to see that you're teaching them how to be respectful, and to have grace, to be graceful.
Yes.
So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you for having me. God bless each and every one of you that hears my voice. And thank you. Thank you. I received it, and call me up. Tell me what you can do with money or with services or whatever. Please let me know. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Madam Mercedes. You enjoy your weekend and happy Easter.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you. Goodbye.
So the number, if you want to contact Madam Mercedes, Table Etiquette Manners for Girls is 810-223-8454. So let's go on real quick to, we're going to do this next one. We're going to have Land Bank. So if we can put it, y'all know I was over there, you know, I wasn't harassing the Land Bank, maybe just a little bit. And so we showed you the block that was burnt out, the trash behind the buildings with dead dogs, by the way, y'all. There's clearly a dog fighting ring in my ward who were dumping dogs after they were dead. They were all pit bulls behind the building, 4 dogs. So I want to so we got the pictures, producer Jay. And look, y'all, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. So this is a picture I blocked off the dog's head. And so they were dumping them. This was one of them. There were 3 more behind the building. And so can we show where it looked at before it was cleaned up? So I want to send shout out to Michael Freeman, the director of the Land Bank, and then also to his cleanup crew because they were helpful. I showed the video. So this is before. This was a home, Sloan Street in Ballinger. And you see it was burnt down to the chimney. And y'all, one of the things that was built with brick. We don't see brick chimneys anymore. We just don't. And so the home was burnt down. There was dumping on it. So shout out to the Blight team, Arnold, the Blight manager, Arnold Brown, and to Kamisha and to Harletta, because working together with the county, this structure right here, can we put up the new one? It don't look like that. No. Y'all, this is what it looked like now. This is doing the work. So the chimney is gone. It's been cleaned up behind the building. Thank you to the Blight team of the city of Flint who cleaned it up first. They went out and cleaned it up. Thank you guys. And then to the Land Bank demolition. When you see the demolition sign, that means they're coming to demo it. Okay. And here I watched, because I didn't know that Komatsu excavator could get down into the basement. They tear literally out the whole basement, the cement slabs. They break it up with that machine, and they actually break it up, and then they put it into the truck and haul it away. And so this is what this site now looks like. It's been cleaned up, and it's been cleaned up. It looks so much better, and this is wonderful. So a shout out to the Land Bank, Michael Freeman, and the Blight team, city of Flint, and the Land Bank crew who was there. And even this one, I had to get him an honorary black card. So it is wonderful to see our community is being cleaned up. We put forth the effort. We all play a role. One person doesn't wear one hat. I don't. I always thank the people who I work with. Sometimes they may not like how look. Thank you. Look, I'm paying them a pound cake, y'all. So the Blight team was being put, Mr. Jean, and Beverly Lewis. Beverly Lewis heard me and Mr. Jean at Hasselbrink. Y'all go sign up for Hasselbrink Center on Pearson Road, almost at the corner of Fleming Road and Pearson Road. Because Mr. Jean made that homemade pound cake. Y'all, you know it's a good cake when it's a heavy cake. Y'all, that goodness and real butter and real vanilla in it. Y'all, our community, they said, look, you ain't got time to bake no cake. You keep cleaning up this community, making us aware of stuff. We gonna bake you all the cakes you need. I'm like, look, God is a good God. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. And it was funny. So I do want to close with this. I want to thank everyone who did support and are supporting Mercedes Kinee. I want to thank Michael Freeman and the Genesee County Land Bank and the City of Flint Blight team, because they're getting paid, donuts and pound cakes. So this is the blessing in our community when good morning, what, Jerry went for Connor out here. Good morning, JWC. So this is what happens when we work together for a positive change in our community. And that is what it is. Good morning, Jasmine. This is what it is about. Good morning, Christine Leach. And so I want to thank the community. And I wanted to say this about the land bank. People don't often understand the process with the land bank. So that when they get the homes back, generally foreclosed homes, it goes through a process, and the process why some of these homes stay on there, one, because sometimes it gets bottleneck. Keep holding up the. Now you know that's a song, DeAndre. Keep holding up the bloodstained banner. Happy, thank you. You know I want to sing that solo too, but y'all know. We have to hold it up until we die. We are soldiers in the army. Okay, now getting back to land bank. Y'all, I deviated for a minute. Land bank, once they get them, some of the homes sit on there for 10 years, 5 years. And so they don't have the demolition dollars. And it's a process. And so land bank is asking, if you need a house that needs to be on demolition, turn it into your council person or turn it into the land bank. But by all means, turn it in. And you can also go on their site and do it yourself on their portal. You can do it. So if we haven't had demos in 10, 15, 20 years, y'all, we're way behind. So they're asking that we be patient. They're working their way through the entire city. But if it's something that they miss, they said, hey, let us know. We'll get it on the list and we'll see. So they're in the process. So shout out to the Blight team, City of Flint, and shout out to the demolition team at the Genesee County Land Bank. All right. So we're going to go on. Look, you be nice to Kevin. You be nice to Kevin. And good morning, Kevin. And I can't sing like Jerry. Look, it is Kevin's birthday. So I'm going to look. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Kevin. Happy birthday. So listen, JWC, tell him I said, I sung to him. So I appreciate JWC and Kevin. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. So listen, we have got another guest on, and a lot has happened during this week. And I ain't going to be on here all day because I have got family. We had a beautiful service at St. Mark's Church with Bishop Larry Trotter. And so they come to, the joke was, I think so I think I'm going to get you. So Dink said I was acting like I was at the club. Look, my praise was hard. So who I sat next to during the entire church service, I sat next to candidate Beverly Biggs Levy and her husband. She was there 10 minutes to 6. I was like 5 after. We praised the Lord next to each other all through the meeting, and it was good. To my left was Steph. Stephanie might have been a little late, but anyways, I still love you, girl. So Stephanie, right, and we all sat together. So when we set aside whatever, when we worked together, the praise was on. The praise was on. And that is what it is about. And I love it. And when they were talking about Jesus will work it out, y'all, I was on my feet. And so this is what I'm talking about with our community. We need to start working together. We have got to start working together with the right folks, the folks who want to be real change makers like Mercedes Kinee, like Beverly wants to run to change corruption, like, and I'm gonna put AC Dumas. He loves that Robert's Rules of Order, because you can't never tell him he's wrong about Robert's Rules of Order, because he reads it and he knows it. So when we want to talk about change makers, we need to make sure that our change makers are people who are in our community. And so church service was good. So producer Jay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Arthur Woodson in the back?
Nope. I'm working on it.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what's going on with him. So he wanted to come in to go over a couple things. So one of the things I do want to go over is we are in budget hearings. I don't know who doing the math for them. Some of these categories, stuff that they're talking about, a philanthropy, we're expected to negotiate with the county. The city needs to repair its relationship with the county. There were for a couple years with I call it the jail money. It would come down and it would go to the city of Flint and need to be transferred over to the county. And it would not get transferred over to the county for some reason. And it would be like a year late. And so some of these issues is they need to fix. It's conversations. Conversations are very real. I had a conversation with Jedediah this morning and with Beverly talking about how some of the things that we have to look at, that those who are on this side, we need to all stick together, because if we're all fighting for the same cause, we have common ground, but how do we stay on the common ground? And that's where we have to be, to stay on the common ground. So he working on the what's the name. So for me, I'm gonna stay on the side of love. Ain't nobody gonna disturb my week, not this week. And not next week either, and they ain't gonna disturb my peace. Often things I see, I just don't deal with, because it's not me. It doesn't represent who I am. It doesn't represent who I actually am. And so things like we talk about coming together for the goodness of the city. So some of the things, you cannot drink Flint water from the tap. You cannot. You cannot drink it from the tap. Another thing, you may have seen Mayor Neely said that he sent the letter. Now he know what sending out the letter, they're gonna be starting to pay. So he wants to use, don't be tricked by the stuff. Like he's gonna say, I sent the letter and y'all got paid. Y'all vote for me. I sent that letter and voila, y'all are gonna finally get paid. But where was he when we needed to know the water quality? I mean, he was so silent, you could hear a mouse pee on cotton. He was so quiet. So he sent this letter, and we're gonna watch it play out. We are going. Kawana said a gimmick. So the letter, that's a good one. The letter was a gimmick. It was a gimmick. So, Producer Jay, is he having serious? Huh?
We might want to play a commercial when you call him, because I sent him a message, but he didn't respond.
Okay, well, I'm gonna move on then. I don't know.
Maybe you ought to call him.
Oh, he just now. He said, "What do you want?" When I just sent to him now.
Tell him to check his messages on Facebook, because I sent him the link in there as well.
Okay. So I just sent that to him. He has not responded. Maybe let me mute and let me call.
Want to grow your business? Advertise with the Tonya Burns Show and unleash your brand's potential. Contact us today for advertising rates. Call 810-354-5843. That's 810-354-5843. Or email hcrcga@gmail.com.
Look, I can look. Mike was muted. Sorry, y'all. So listen. So we are going to look, hit that like button so we can get this out into the strategy. You know, and if you have not subscribed, click like, share, and subscribe. And then you can also donate to $ producer J1987. It will remain at the bottom of your crawl for the duration of the show. Okay, if you want to donate to, listen, please and kindly donate to producer J. $1 or producer $producer J1987. So are we ready, producer J?
Not yet.
Oh, I thought he said he was on.
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe he's a little not tech savvy this morning. Here he comes. Okay, here he comes. Well, he's frozen right now, but he's on. It looks like he's in the car, so give him a minute.
So he don't have probably a good internet connection.
Nah, he driving and whipping and turning. Look like he's doing a wheelie in the middle of the road.
Okay. Maybe we just need to.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in, but he's definitely, his connection is not very good. It looks like.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, he says that you're going in and out.
No, I had to turn my Wi-Fi off.
Okay, so is it good now?
Yeah, the GMC stuff, man. I don't know what the deal is. They don't want to cooperate.
Okay, so listen, y'all, this is activist Arthur Woodson, who, with the water crisis, it was him, it was Miss Claire McClinton, Councilman Eric Mays, and Juan Davis, who was an advocate. He was. I'm not going to take anything for anybody who was out there. The two who are loudest on probably the megaphones would be Woodson and Juan. But Woodson has been consistent. So you actually had rented them slow buses.
Hey, see, now there you go. Now see, I said I was gonna come on here panning and stuff. I said I'm on somebody else's platform, so I'm gonna be highly respectful. But no, you won't allow that. Man, put that, man, Flynn. I call names too. So if you bring somebody up, I'm gonna call their name out. Flynn, everybody. He was a pastor at the time. Oh, he's a shyster.
Hold on. So we ain't gonna talk about Pastor Flynn today, please. Thank you.
All right. Hey, you brought up those. You brought up. I was getting ready to give everybody a little helmet, man.
Oh God. Tony Palladino, who would actually bring red licorice, and he would share it. And thank you, Diane. He would be in talk loud voice. May he rest in heaven. And Councilman Mays, may he rest in heaven too. And all of these people were working together, and with you. So what was that like when you guys were working together? Because we have a problem right now working together. How was that?
I mean, it wasn't always working together. I mean, like when we first started out, I started out, with fighting for veterans benefits and compensation, and I was prepared for. Basically, God prepared me for the water fight because I was helping a veteran with TTHM in 2013. We switched over to the Flint River April 25th of 2014. So when they told me that we had TTHM, I went down to City Council, and Bob Stewart, the late Bob Stewart, scientist. I mean, he was a great guy. That's where Bob, the water guy.
Yeah, did he pass away?
Yeah, he passed away like 3 months ago.
No.
Yeah, they had his funeral about 2-3 months ago, man. I miss him already.
My
I miss him
uncle,
already. Huh?
my uncle is here from New York, and he actually did business with him. I'm gonna have to let him.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He passed away, man. Didn't nobody know he was sick. He was in a hospice, and didn't nobody know he was sick. But he was the first guy that I met down at city council. That was my first time ever going down to city. Well, no, I had just started going down to city council. So when I went down and started talking about the TTHM, because he was already talking about how to upgrade, because Mayor Sheldon Nickelback Neely had took him on a tour
Our,
through the water plant
can we
the
call
year
people by their,
before.
can we please call people by their name today?
I
We
did.
just had
I
that.
did.
That is not. Look,
It's
you know
Mayor
my
Sheldon,
feelings about him.
but I can't call him Nickelback. I thought that
No,
was being polite. Huh?
no. Hey, producer Jay,
See,
do not fall. I just had etiquette on here. Do not
hey,
fall for that.
I was not. Hey, listen. I said I'm not gonna get on here and cuss because I know Tonya. I know you had the Holy Spirit the other day,
Uh,
and no, man. I mean, you was really feeling it. You got the point, and I look like you saw ghosts, and
no,
and you.
listen. When you didn't feel it when she was talking about Jesus will work it out. It because we have so much and so much was going on. And when you
Right.
talk, I believe, grew up in the church. Y'all know I'm still mad they ain't let me sing a solo song in the choir. I'm still a little bitter about that. But we talk about Jesus will work it out. I cried and I cried.
Uh,
Just couldn't sing the song.
yeah.
Anyways, when she came
Hey,
down there, I was like, no. I got a
hey, she was throwing down though.
and I got a gas belt too. And
Hey, it was
I
a
was
lot.
like,
It was a lot of energy in that church.
yes,
But
yes.
but the thing is, right, when I got to city council and met with Bob the water guy, he and I started talking and exchanging everything. And then that's when I got with Councilman Mays. I told Councilman Mays, I said, Councilman Mays, I'm gonna give you all the documents that I have because you're on city council and you can fight differently than the way I can. I can fight with you against the emergency manager and Mayor Dane Walling with all this paperwork. So it was rough because I would go to all these different organization meetings, and at the time, all of them was working on getting the water rates lowered. And I was, going to these meetings saying, hey, man, skip getting them lowered. We don't need to pay for this contaminated water at all. And y'all don't know the severity of TTHM. And our water is brown and nasty smelling and everything else. We shouldn't even be paying a dime. That's what we should be protesting, is getting us off of this Flint River water because it's deadly right now. So they would throw me out of their meetings and different things like that. So it hasn't been a cakewalk at all. And it's just organizations. A lot of people don't understand that an activist, an advocate, people who's fighting for the people, you don't work for the elected official. You don't work for the power that be. If you out here working for the people, you working for them. But the majority of 501c3s here in the city of Flint is beholden to some type of organization, a philanthropist, a business. They all, they are working for them. I can't say that they bought and paid for, but they got a family to feed, and if that's the way that they choose to feed their family, that's on them. But you know, it's hard trying to maneuver around people, man. And me, Eric, Tony Palladino, right before he went to jail, all of us had got into it downtown at City Hall because Councilman Mays wanted to protest Mayor Weaver because she the on the
Oh, he dropped.
you know, they had the council people that
So you said
man,
he
I thought I
wanted
had
to
brought my
protest, and after that, you dropped.
oh, he wanted to protest Mayor Weaver, and she had just called that emergency thing, that 1976 390 local state of emergency, local city emergency, and they had to put a city council person on there, and she put Carrie Nelson. And Eric felt like she went against her. She went against him, so he wanted all of us, which we were calling ourselves the Water Warriors. He wanted us to protest her. So I was like, no, man, I'm not doing it because you trying to get something personal out of this. So he and I, all of us split, and we got to talking mess. Then you had Dr. Edwards and what's his name?
Mark
Uh,
Edwards.
Mark Edwards and
Was it
Keith.
Virginia?
Wait, yeah, it was the Virginia, and then you had
Did he freeze again?
shoot, I can't think of his name, but he played. It started with an R. Russo. His name Russo. Uh, the scientists that work with him, they called him Sponge Bob because he used to use these sponges to soak up the water and test the sponges. And Mark Edwards didn't think that that was technology, scientific backed or anything like that. So I mean, there's articles out here of where me, Leanne Walters was fighting against Melissa Mays and Tony Palladino. All
So
of us
you
was
have
fighting against each
Diane and
other.
Debbie Clark in here who said they were water warriors also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
And,
twins. And y'all, they are
the
twins.
twins. Right, right. So it's not the first time that we all been fought, but we all came back after we fought. We all came back, but now it's dealing with money. When the Flint water crisis lawsuit got passed, approved, the lawyers told a lot of the activists not to say anything. They couldn't speak out against the lawsuit because it would mess it up for them. So
Right.
that's why you don't see a lot of pastors, a lot of activists, a lot of people speaking up now that spoke up back in the day because they don't want to lose their money.
So hold on. So this is something that's important because people always ask, where is the clergy? Where are the pastors? And so they don't know. And this is why having you on, people get a different view and they get to understand that through all of that, you had the look at where we're at now. Pastors to be helping to bridge this community that is so fragmented now. And so out of all of this with the Water Warriors, you never stopped. Your activism didn't stop. Talk about your cancer cluster study.
Cancer cluster study. When my friend Pastella, I was passing water out over at Bethel, and she lived directly across the street from Bethel Church. And I didn't know at the time that that's where she was living. So I carried like 4 cases over to her house, and I found out that she had cancer. So, I sat down and started talking to her. And when she told me what type of cancer she had, that's when I was like, man, it just started already, because she got diagnosed in 2016 and she passed away in 2018. And when I saw that, I'm like, I started thinking about Mr. Fernandini. Fernandini was the veteran that I was helping in 2013, where he was stationed at Camp Lejeune, back in 1968, and he got out in 1970, and he was diagnosed with leukemia, acute leukemia, in 1972. It only took 2 years for him to get this type of cancer. So I started looking. I'm like, man, we went on Flint River water in 2014. Pastella was diagnosed with multiple myeloma in 2016, and she died in 2018. So when I started looking at that, I said, let me go over here and interview her and let people know that we in a crisis. We on a cuff of going into a serious crisis. So when I went over there and started interviewing her, she started saying how her friends had multiple myeloma too. So now this is a rare blood cancer only, and you know, the stats might be changed, or it was like 11,000 people in the whole United States get multiple myeloma. That's how rare it is. So 11,000. And when I talked to Pastella, she said, my friends, and when she said it with, plural with an S, I said, where your friends at? I need to speak to them. She said, next door. I said, what? Next door. So when I started knocking on the doors, I
Now, this
found
is
8.
Donaldson.
Huh?
She lived on the corner of Donaldson and there's a Prospect.
Yeah.
Or Stevenson.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's
Stevenson.
Stevenson.
She lives right here.
Stevenson.
Yeah. Which is the end of the line in the 6th ward. That's where we had the problems with the water in Legionella when Stephanie's mother had been diagnosed. It showed that she had contacted was it Legionnaires?
Legionnaires.
Yeah. So same. We now have automatic flusher in that area that was installed last week, but we passed out letters and knocked on. That's where you met Sherry and Uncle Carl.
Right.
Knocking doors, which
you
and Carl, I'm like, dude, we're passing out letters. You were stuck in our house talking to Carl forever.
Yeah. Right. Like,
what is you doing? You know, we gotta get these flyers out. But go ahead. So next door, they stayed next door to each other.
Hey, wait, you said something, man. Hold on. We got to stick a pin in this for a second. We got to stick a pin in this. You just said something, and I need to make sure that I heard you correctly. Did you just say that they got an automatic flush over there right now?
Yep.
Get out of here.
They
got an automatic.
So, well, I was told to go over on Parkside where the big mansions are. And I went over there to Parkside because they kept flushing it. I told you, she's watching, I won't say her name. The other person on Concord Street, who said it was a problem. They told her, don't drink the water and don't ingest any of the water. Don't use it for anything. And basically, she said to keep it private. And she said, I didn't think that sounded right. And so she called me. And so I was told to go look and see what I didn't know what automatic flush looked like. So I went over there and we're right across from former Mayor Donaldson Williamson lived at. And he told me to go. And I went and took a picture. I was told I took a picture, went over there and asked him to put one because we kept having every day I would go, like not every day because you get busy, but to ask him to, when it get hot to flush the fire hydrants. Because there were times, I think I was out of town and I called you and I said, I need you to go check and see if they're flushing the fire hydrant. So it's right there at that Winona and Concord. And so they now have an automatic flusher. I sent them a request to have. I didn't know what an automatic flusher was because what they would do is manually produce the false demand on the water system because that's where it just dead ends in that area where Pasquala, her neighbor, where they, that all that across there, that's the end of the line. So there is an automatic flusher in a Black neighborhood now where you have high rates of cancer. I've talked about you ain't been watching Tonya Burns Show. Hey, you be calling up. Did you watch my show? No, you be on there. I can't follow all of that all the time.
Hey, listen, but see, the reason why I asked when you said that,
Mhm.
when you see an automatic flusher, it can mean a bunch of different things. But the two main things that that I look at is what's in the water right now. It's not hot, so chlorine residuals don't have to really be up that high because it's not that hot, and the water isn't stagnated to where it stands a huge risk of bacteria
It was put
unless
on
our
last
water is really
spring.
really bad.
Right.
Huh?
It was put on last spring. But you remember the results which were coming back from the lady who made the report. She said, well, I watched them test. If you ever get your water tested, they have those machines where you can look at it right there. And she said they were taking the water. So she said, and it shows zero chlorine residuals. But then they came back because she was persistent, and they came back and said, oh, it's 2. So it's not in violation if you got 2 or 1. You just have to have some. But she said she was adamant. When he tested at the house, it shows zero. There was not enough chlorine in that water.
And see, me and Eric Oswald got into it big time because even though it's 2, it's still dangerous. Even if it's 0.2, it's still dangerous. And he and I got into it because he was like, well, even a trace of it, we need it. I mean, it's okay. And here's another thing that is tripped out about it when they doing that is when they doing the LCR, lead copper rule. They have to have 60 samples that's good. 60 samples that they can test. So by flushing the system, you flushing out all the stuff that would have you could have caught if you didn't flush the system. So Sheldon, it's loopholes. That's how we got into the water crisis, because they would manipulate the LCR rule, the numbers under 15 parts per billion. And with us having the majority of our service lines removed, we don't have tier 1 houses that we're testing. So they go out and test businesses. A lot of the businesses come back, like one of them came back 13,452 parts per billion. So they said, oh, you know what? They don't use this business that much. So we're going to throw this test out. Even though when they test, and another thing that they're doing, they're using 250 milliliters jars and 750 milliliter jars to calculate to 1 million million liter jar. And if it comes back high, they'll throw that out. But they have, in order to put the numbers down, they have to test with a 1 million liter jar. So they still manipulating how they testing and different things like that. But getting back to the cancer, when I knocked on the doors and I found 8 people with multiple myeloma, and ATSDR did a cancer study from 1957 to 1985 at Camp Lejeune that had THM, total trihalomethane. They had vinyl chloride, which we had. They had benzene, which we had. They had 1,2 dioxin, which we have. We have 1,4 dioxin. And then we have PCE, DCE, TCE. We had all the things that they had in their water.
So people don't know what Camp, and because y'all, he'll have us on here tomorrow talking about this water. So Camp Lejeune is where in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, yep.
And so Camp Lejeune is an Army base.
Marine
Marine base.
It's a Marine base.
Because and as a matter of fact, my aunt who is here, that's where her husband was at. Bill retired from he was a Marine Corps, and he passed away, cancer. I never told you that, did I?
Nah,
So yeah, so
You know that they can
they,
get compensated. You know they can get compensated, right?
they've been contacting her. She drove in. Well,
Yeah.
it took her 24 hours to get here from North Carolina because she had an electric car. So, oh, y'all like them electric cars, gasoline, what the heck you on that? But listen, go green. I'm all for that for around town. But she's in that. And she lived there and had 2 kids born there, and they were at Camp Lejeune. And so Bill Pat, I went to this was, and actually when I went to the funeral and I showed where the Marines were there, and the picture is on my Facebook site where my son made me drive down and I had rules like don't talk on the phone, you can't control the radio. He did. Yeah, and it was rough, y'all. I'm like, boy, if you don't shut up, as soon as he got out the pump gas, he's like, come on. You can't be in there all day. Come on. You got 15 minutes. We're going to get some gas, use the restroom, and we back on the road. Because that's what I used to do to them. And I meant that. I'm not spending 2 hours at no rest stop. I don't have that kind of patience. So she was contacted about that. So I don't know where she's at with the lawsuit. But I'll talk to you afterward because it's not just him. And I'm gonna tell you somebody else was there. And I don't know if he's been contacted, Sean, because Sean was in the Marines for 20 years, and he lives here in my ward, and he was there, and him and his wife, then Lisa. So Camp Lejeune, people, it's a lawsuit, it's a class action lawsuit, and because people were poisoned by what at Camp Lejeune?
They was poisoned by TTHM, contaminated water, and it was over 200,000 veterans. And let me say this, yeah, because it was from 1957 to 1985. Yeah, and they knew about it. EPA, because like I said, during 2013, I had to honestly read documentation and find out how did it start. What were they doing? The investigation. You have presumptive illnesses. What I mean by presumptive illnesses in the military, we have like Agent Orange, Vietnam vets with herbicides. If you have a certain illness, they did a cluster to find out what are the main cancers in this group of people. So they found out that multiple myeloma, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's, Parkinson, breast, neurobehavioral, and that's just some. They still adding sarcoma. They still adding things to the list. So what they mean by presumptive, meaning if you have these illnesses in the military, as a veteran, you don't have to go through the process of filling out a stress claim, paperwork, anything like that. You just automatically just basically go to the front of the line.
So here's the question, because the VA has been under attack, and thank you for your service in the military also.
Thank you.
So are any of these Trump cuts affecting when you go to the VA? Is it affecting, do you see it affecting anything?
You'd have been on the phone with me. You'd have been on the phone with me. So, let's see, is it affecting? Yeah, it is. It is. It really is, because I can tell you one part of it, MRI and radiology, where they were able to have the radiologists sit at home, and they send over the images over to them, and they do all the stuff at home. So by Dodge coming in, cutting all that, and cutting, people who was on probation and different things like that, it hurt the VA tremendously, because where we used to, at the VA, they have everything in the one building. So we were able to go upstairs and do MRIs, CAT scans, colonoscopy, you name it. Everything is right there in that building. We go upstairs. By the time we make it back downstairs to our primary care doctor, the results are in. But with this one, they have to prioritize, and I didn't get my reading for like 2-3 days. So we're not back to where we used to be, because we have what they call C box, community-based community-based outpatient clinic. We have one up here on Linden Road, but they getting ready to start cutting those now. So it's getting ready to become a problem. I think what they trying to lead up to is to privatize veterans health care. And I see that as an issue, because you have a lot of veterans that the public can't deal with. And I see the public isn't gonna, respect the veteran and what his illness is, and they're not going to be able to handle his illness or her illness like the VA can. You know, the doctors and the nurses and the receptionists, all of them understand I'm working at a hospital where only veterans come. Like this one lady said, she said, in the morning when I'm on my way to work, when I see this, me and my husband, we could have been gotten into it. And some people take out their frustration on the next person at their job or whatever. She said, when I pull up to the VA and I see that big old VA sign, her whole attitude changes, because everybody that comes into the VA are trained killers. So she said,
so it's a trigger.
uh,
So it's a trigger to see that sign
for her, as far
right.
as far as I'm gonna respect everybody that comes up in here, because I don't know if this is a trained killer that has some serious issues, and I don't want to tee him off like that. So the VA, I mean, it's okay right now, but it's just a matter of time that something else changes drastically, or it ends up being a serious problem. But the cancer, when I went through Pastella's neighborhood, I found 8 multiple myeloma on one block, and that was in 2018. And that's when I started, really beating the pavement with the state. And at that time, it was Dr. Eden Wells and Nick Lyons going to court for the water contamination, or the water crisis. And I used to talk to Eden Wells at court, even though I was against her. We would still hold conversation. And I was like, Dr. Wells, we have a serious issue here in Flint, because they were still on trial, but they were still working for MDHHS. And I was like, we have a problem here. I said, I done found 8 multiple myeloma here in the city of Flint. I said, it's a rare cancer. We need a cancer incident report. So she did a cancer incident report, and it showed that cancer for brain, throat, and stomach was up 500%. So they tried to hide the numbers. So Dr. Furholden, after the second cancer incident report, Dr. Furholden, she moved to New York. She was the dean of New York University, and her and Dr. Kaylee from Genesee County Health Department, they broke it down for me, and they wrote me a letter. And Vice President Harris came to Flint. I met with her, and I gave her the letter. I told her what was going on, and that's when she and I got together. And she sent me over to the White House, the cancer moonshot, where President Biden was trying to do away with cancer. That's where all of us got together, CDC, DHS, the cancer moonshot, Dr. Carnival, and then I
So
had Dr.
where is it at now?
Where we getting ready to start. We have, matter of fact, we have a meeting April the 21st. What we're doing is putting everything together because we have to do town halls, we have to do listening sessions, we have to gather data. We have to come out to the public, let the public know what's going on. And this cancer study or feasibility study is community driven. And the community is who drive and ask the questions. And a feasibility study is mainly before the cancer cluster study. So what it is, the community goes to these town halls and say, hey, we want this, we want this, we want that, we want all this in there. And that's how that's how the cancer cluster study is formed. So right now,
when will you be? Yeah. Look, we did a podcast together, so I know how to keep him on track because he had been and told you when the kids. No,
no, that's you this time though. You jumped from the cancer to the VA.
Lord, and I was like, I was ready. So, you can get me in a minute on that, okay? In church. So.
All right.
You had a really nice health fair last, was it spring?
January. Martin Luther King's birthday.
No, you had
January
one at the Bloom Center before.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. That was at the Bloom Center.
So, and that was part of this cancer cluster study. Everything you could get, like touch, check. Matter of fact, they took my blood pressure there. Nurse T, she's like, no, you got to sit down. We're gonna take this again. You have to wait. I'm like, is my blood pressure up? But and so they literally said, no, I'm concerned about these numbers. So there was all type of screenings and information, and it wasn't harsh. They didn't throw you information. You talked to people who were genuinely interested, giving you good advice. But you had a really big one the first year where it was at Burston when you worked with County Commissioner B.B. Nolan. May he rest in heaven. You had a big one there. And was it Diane or Debbie sent me? So put us in the reason why you're doing this, your aunt was sick, your cousin, and they both passed away. Not too far from where this main is, but it was the second ward that they lived in. So Debbie or Diane, producer Jay, she had a growth that was unusual. So when we look at how things grew, that people normally might not have been as, big or wherever it was from. So she had a growth on her back. And when we talk about the growths, different things, and it's a little bit behind. So this is, and I would like to have her tell me about that because she just sent this, y'all, as we are talking. And so that is one of the things, when we talk about, we have to know where the people come from and what's going on in our community. So your aunt, you showed me the picture, your cousin.
Yeah, it was my cousin.
Those pictures. And her skin looked like Scotch tape and you could peel it up.
Yeah, it was peeling. We would have to sweep up a dustpan of skin like every other day because of the water and the water making our immune system weak. She could barely, her hands was rare. I mean raw, and she could barely turn the doorknob. A lot of people don't understand that, like T-cell, my aunt had 5 different cancers, and the cancer here in Flint is not just an ordinary cancer. You could be diagnosed with cancer in January, and pass away by June. You can go from stage 1 to stage 4 because our cancer here in the city of Flint is so aggressive. The Miss Taylor called me, and she was like, all right, they can't find a treatment compatible to my body, or my body keeps rejecting the treatment. And I said, Miss Taylor, let me call the pharmaceutical company that I'm working with and see if they have doctors that can work with your doctor so that they can, come up with something. So I called her doctor and asked her doctor, would he mind working with doctors from the pharmaceutical company that I was working with? He said, no, I welcome it. So I gave them the number. Miss Taylor called me and was like, Art, they found a treatment that I could use. Next thing I know, she said, hey, I'm good to go. And she told me that recently that her cancer is gone. So the point that I'm making is that a lot of people at these health fairs, or people won't go to the health fairs and get checked because they are afraid of hearing that they have cancer. But here's my point, that what I want to say is, would you rather know up front and be able to have a 79% chance of beating it, or wait until the end and allow cancer to let you know that you have it and suffer? Because I had to hear my aunt every single night for almost a week and a half screaming because my cousin didn't want her in the hospice. And all I could do was respect that. But at the same time, that's my aunt, love her to death. That's my cousin. And I didn't want her to go through it by herself. Plus, she had to work. So I went down to Indianapolis and stayed down there with her. As long as she needed me there, I was there. But when my aunt would get to screaming, it's a scream that goes through my head when I think of my aunt. That's what motivates me. That's what keeps me going, because the problem that we're going to have is that down in Camp Lejeune, they found that the cancer could be passed on. It's generational. At these summits that I go to, we have renowned epidemiologists, we have researchers, we have scientists, and all of them be up on the stage. And I asked them, I said, for years, they've been telling us that Black people are more prone to have cancer than white people, but they never told us the reason why Blacks are more prone to have cancer more than whites is because cancer, the environment, polluted environment can change our DNA makeup. Looks like to where it looks like we makes it look like we are, we are just born with it. Put it like that. They make it look like we are just born with it, and we're not. It's through contaminated water, contaminated air, contaminated soil.
So, you will be keeping us abreast of your next health fair. I hope you'll have one. When is your next health fair? Or do you know?
Hey, guess what? Yeah, we matter of fact, I'm heading down to DC soon.
Okay.
And
So it'll be coming soon.
Yeah, right now we are looking at Juneteenth. That's when we did it at the Broom Center. But when we did it at the Broom Center, it was a mini health clinic. but this one's gonna be a full, like the one at the Broom Center is gonna be a full where we bring everybody in, every vendor, and a lot of people don't know, but when I do things, I try to get everybody paid. You know, I don't get paid, but I try to get everybody else paid. The food trucks, they pay the people in the food trucks. They pay them up front to give out free food. The face painter, the barber, the band, the DJ, the Zumba. I mean, whoever you see out there working, they done got paid full price for their whole day. So it's not like when we passing out food, free the boxes, St. Mark's, give us the people, and they get paid $15 an hour to pass out the boxes of food. So
let me put a pin in it because we gotta. I do want to say, listen, if you guys could donate to Producer J, Producer J 1987, so that we can continue to do shows like this. Producer J $1987 Cash App. Look at the bottom of the scroll as you are going along, because this is good information that we do need. We need good information. So it's down at the bottom, but you peeked that out before because you actually called the number down at the bottom and ended up on my show unknowingly. Unbeknownst to me. I did not know. I'm like, what is that going on here? Yeah. And I'm like,
Art is the reason why we changed from the phone number to the email address.
And so for those who out there who kept saying, "Oh no, she knew he was," did not, because here's the difference. People do not. Me and Woodson have a very different relationship. It's very, very different, y'all. I didn't think I was talking to you when I called you and said, "Hey, do you have your hero cape on today?" You said, "What you mean?" So the hero cape, y'all know you done got in jail twice, and you know your girl was making sure he got out, got home twice.
No, it was 3 times. It was 3 times.
Yeah, but the one when he came home, I'm like, let me find out where he left from. Roadhouse, didn't make it home, and Pam called me worried. And you was in jail. You was in jail. And then when you told me the reason, I want to snap you up through that phone. Just a minute, we're gonna get back on track, y'all. So I'm saying, so I'm really playing in my mind. I didn't call Dink. I'm like, okay, what? Dink wasn't answering there. And then you've come to find I'm putting all kinds of favors I needed to know. Well, on his way from home, because he helps Dink out at Roadhouse. Look, shout out to Roadhouse Bar and Grill, Pasadena Street, Dink Sosa, best tacos. The food is great, and it's great bar food. Usually bar food is just something to soak up if you're going to be drinking some alcohol. They have good food, great food. So support Dink Sosa, black-owned business, and also he owns Vibes. And then he has a new one coming downtown Flint. I don't know the new name of the new one yet.
Levels.
What?
Levels.
So it's going to be Levels. So we will have a black business downtown, a sports bar and grill, a Dink Sosa. He's in business with his brother. And they're doing their thing, and I support that. So when y'all come downtown, you can't go out and showing your behinds no more, because look, we will have 5 businesses. So we have Drinks of Essence down there, my sister. She's there. We have got Levels, Dink Sosa. We have Comma Bookstore. That's Dorian in Egypt downtown. We have a Potato Spuds.
Spuds, yep. Spud Potato.
Black owned. She has a beautiful story to tell. We have Tim Tyler, his barbershop. Then we have Wayne, the barber, his bar. Is that 6? Downtown.
So check this out, right? So you know I've been fighting. It's not. it's great just having businesses downtown. It's great
Hold on,
having
hold
black.
on, deviate, because we're gonna finish up the last topic.
No, just this part right here. Just I know we're not going back to this part, so I just wanted to finish. Come in with what you were just saying. You just named 6. Just having a business downtown is cool, but we didn't have any black buildings owners downtown. So now, after fighting that, we have Pooh Diddy. He getting ready to, he owns XO. You have Ray Tyler, who owns Pop Rocks. You have a crew that's coming in.
Oh, I
that
forgot.
just,
Yeah, I forgot about Pop Rocks. Because it's gonna be an ice cream parlor.
No,
So
no, his daughter gonna be doing children's spa.
but she's
nail.
having ice cream there too.
Oh yeah, right.
She's having ice cream. So I did not know that Pooh did, which is Delano Burton Jr., that
Right.
he will be having my
XO.
mother, his grandma kept my kids. Miss Caroline wasn't no joke. She kept my kids. She had a daycare, and her and my mother are very good friends. So then we got 7 then. No, that 8.
We got let me finish. Let me finish this one. Pop Rocks, XO, Dink with Levels, Raspberry. Then you have Sweetwater, and then you have Ted's wife and her 2 friends. I can't remember. I think it's called Rich Scent. They do candles, scented candles.
I haven't
They
seen
moving.
it.
No, they fixing it up now.
Okay.
And they are moving and they getting ready to open up downtown also. So you got like 13 black owned businesses getting ready to open up downtown. And Phil Schultz. Everybody talks about Phil Schultz, right? The only reason why I didn't talk or I don't say anything about Phil Schultz is because he and I started like about 3-4 years ago, talking, and I was speaking to him, and I was letting him know that we need. He big on generational wealth. Phil Schultz is the person who sold all these black business, all these African American, these buildings. If he was racist, why would he sell all these buildings to African Americans?
So you have a good relationship with Phil Schultz.
Yes.
Okay. And so Roadhouse will be celebrating. Look, look, producer Jada went and grabbed this off. Roadhouse, 3 years, the black and white party at the Roadhouse. And he has one at Vibes also. And so Dink will always be special.
I'm sorry, I had to go online today.
Wait a minute, mute your phone. Y'all, look, he needs to be in that etiquette class. So the Roadhouse 3-year anniversary, the black and white party, and it is going to be April the 19th. That's today, y'all. That's today.
Yeah.
So tonight at the Roadhouse, April, wait a minute. It's one at the 18th and the 19th.
No, that's the black. That's the black right there. You got the white.
Okay, the black one is the 18th. The 19th is today. So it will be the white party today. And it will be at the Roadhouse on Pasadena Street. It is a 30 and up crowd, and they do check IDs. Don't slide in there being one of the little young folks, because you're going to get turned around. So it is a very safe climate. And I'm saying, I go to Dink's places, y'all, and I can't even dance, y'all, anymore. My rhythm is, I gotta go find it. but look, support.
Gotta go find what?
I listen. I don't want to get the line dancing, but hustles. They're hustles, is what they are.
Oh man, now there you go. There you go.
Don't go, because I saw you busting the move in somebody's video. I saw you busting the move. You didn't see me,
but no, I was up there trying to get the hell off the dance floor. Hey,
no, he didn't.
Hey, you won't see me with a fan. See now, see you gonna
Where
get me
them
started.
fans at?
Hey,
Where them
a
fans
man
at?
should not be looking for a fan.
I got the
A
goods
man.
on the.
Hey, listen, Tanya, the song is not for a man. He should not be having a fan.
Okay.
See, you know what I'm saying?
Listen.
See, you get ready to
Last
get me
night,
started.
me and my family were, and even the young men who are married with their children, we was learning the dance. Okay. Now, your girl, after I do that one crossover, that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. And then I'm
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna need another 2 glasses of wine, maybe, to where I can really just, But it is about, getting together. And in Black families, we dance and have a good time. They come from everywhere and they're here now. And so that's what we do. Miss Burns, you better work on that line. That big shady 11. You got that right. Listen, you got that right. Because mine is real bad. Real bad. So back to Black business. So we now have Black business downtown. And hey, Berta, baby. So we have Black business downtown. So we want people to support Black business. And maybe some of these people, maybe they need etiquette class too. We need an adult etiquette class because some people just don't know, and I'm excited about this because, when you talk about having things available and accessibility, we have it. Now we need to support it. We need to support it. So what do you think about, I'm going to deviate because we're going to leave the other stuff. What about that letter Mayor Neely put out? I want you to touch on that.
What letter?
The one about the payments. I mean, about he's going to ask you to pay people.
Neely, me and Neely been known each other since basically since he's been born almost, Neely is a slickster in politics. He slithers and moves around real smooth. And he put the letter out. When Neely moved, you just can't take him for his word. With Neely, you have to look at things as if you were playing chess. Why did he make this move? Why did he do this? You have to ask the why. And once you find the why, you'll understand what he's doing. Neely put the letter out because he knew payments was getting ready to start coming out. He has not said one thing because he was under Governor Whitmer's thumb. And Governor Whitmer wanted him to be quiet about the water crisis because she didn't want the water crisis on her record because she has political aspirations.
So what do you think about her hiding her face this week because she was in the Oval Office? The picture where she literally took photos.
Yeah, the books.
Yeah.
I mean, it's politics, right? And her whole campaign was financed by Republicans. Her father is the #1 Republican here in the state of Michigan. He was over at Blue Cross Blue Shield. Her campaign, when she ran for governor, was financed by all of Snyder's people. So it's nothing new for me to see her going down to President Trump because that's how she moves. Neely moves just like her. Neely will jump in bed with anybody and everybody if it furthers what his agenda is. So Neely put the letter out to make it look like he has something to do with speeding up the process of getting the money. That's just like when the water crisis first started, or when before Mayor Weaver even got into office. I had a meeting with EPA August of 2015, on August the 31st. They sent me an email saying that Dane Walling and Eagle.
Hold on a second. Ty Evans 76. Please don't do that. Don't put them in timeout, but remove that comment, please, because I'm not doing that.
What happened?
Ty 70s, Ty, thank you.
What happened?
I'm not repeating that. Keep going.
No, repeat it. I
No,
mean,
no,
the thing is, you have to
no,
accept.
no,
I
no,
accept. I accept. If it's Ty Austin, you know,
no, 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 no. It wasn't even about you. It was not
Oh,
even about you. No,
oh, all right.
not even.
I mean, you know, Tanya, the thing here is that can't nobody say anything or do anything that will hurt my feelings or stop me from doing what I do,
The
because
comment was not
I know.
about you.
No. I'm just speaking in general. I'm just speaking in general. You have a lot of people, and you have a lot of people that hate you for who you are because they want to be who you are. They want to be in the place that you are in. They don't know how to go about getting to where you are. They feel like they're more intelligent. They feel like they're more gifted. They feel like they this. They feel like they that, but they can't get nowhere. It's like a Scooby running in place, and they lash out at you or anybody else because they are nobody and they don't know how to get where you are. And here in Flint, we have a lot of those people. We have people that will sit back and talk about other people when they actually talking about themselves. You have people, man, and you know that's what you started out with, was getting along with each other. I
And
didn't
me and
work
you go
with.
back and forth with that. With you'll go through all that unity bull crap, and then people will say, and y'all, we having a very transparent conversation here. And you're like, well, you can't be friends and all that, and you get, and I'll be like, I ain't doing that with you. Depend on the day, you know. But
You
you
can't be friends. What?
with everybody and all that unity
No,
stuff.
no. What I mean by that, right? I can't tell you who to be friends with. That's not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit back and say, hey Tanya, you can't talk to so and so because I don't like them. I don't get down like that.
So you don't
But
do
what I
click.
no,
You don't do, because
but
you deal with the malicious.
yeah, Nation of Islam, everybody.
Right, right.
Eh, But
Which
but
you
but what I
can. Right.
but what I do say, right? If you dealing with somebody that I don't like or somebody I don't trust, what I do is back up from you. I can't stop you from talking to the person, but I can stop myself from talking to you. So I would bag up, and if I do talk to you, I know how much information I'm going to give you because I don't trust the person that you're dealing with. And that's the type of person I am. But I don't tell people, hey, you know what? Don't talk to this person over here. But you got a
Right.
lot of people in the city of Flint that sits back who think that they can dictate who I can and can't talk to. I get into it with you today, but I end up calling you. If I disagree with something that I don't like, I mean something that you done, I inbox you or call you and say, hey, you know what? I disagree with you. You and I done had our fights, man. But
Some bad
you're
ones.
still my sister. You're still
Some
my
really
sister.
bad.
I love you to death, man. But it was political, man. You know, I'm not talking about your mom. I'm not. I when I speak out on a person, I try to speak politically so that I can call them back and say, hey, you know what? On a personal tip, would you like to go out and have something to eat? You know, it's personal. I mean, it's political. Here in Flint, man, you
It's
got all
different.
these newcomers. You got a lot of people just became informed when Eric Mays went famous on TikTok. A lot of people call themselves jumping into the fight. You don't know the players. You don't know the game. You don't know politics. Politics, man, politics is worse than street, man. Politics, man, will hem you up worse than the streets will. Because they have the lawyers, they have the judges, they have the prosecutors, they have all that can frame you and lock you up. They get out here and instead of saying, let me learn the players and all that, they get out here wanting to think that they know everything. You have podcasters that sits back and cause friction. You have podcasters that sit. If you think I'm talking about you, I am.
So I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna touch on this. I don't want you to expand on what I say because I don't want you to take it to a U-turn and do all that. But I'm gonna say I did not tell Jedediah, which was associated with to not be with Winterson and Mickey. I did not do that. What I said when me and him had a conversation that he called me, what I stated was, you have to look at, we talk about what happened on 4/2. I couldn't make it to that meeting anyways. I could not. What I told him it was the forum. I didn't want you to expand. Just please give me a moment of just you. I know. And so I did not tell him not to go on there. What I told him was this city is divided. It is divided. It is divided. He gonna be with who he want to be at. That ain't my business. And so he asked, well, why didn't anybody show up? We have two very specific. You have Neely's people. I'm gonna say people who supported these people as mayors. Neely is mayor, Mayor Weaver is mayor, and you got the different other factions of people. I don't care who you be with. He called me this morning, him and Miss Beverly on the phone. I'm just not gonna get into all the mess. Yes, 810 News Media Group, they drugged me with lies. Didn't affect me. I asked Miss Beverly to come on. Her and I agreed. And who did I sit next? I just answer this. Who did I sit next to while we were in church the entire time?
Miss Beverly Biggs.
Right. And so when people create this fake scenario that either I could have responded to the negative comment that was made on my Facebook, I chose not to because it wasn't anything to respond to. It was ridiculous. And it has to stop. I never told him I can't tell him who to be with and who's his friend. Absolutely did not do that. Absolutely did not. Now I'm not gonna hang with him because I don't do that. I'm not, because it's too much negativity and lies that come out of that. Week after week, I've had to correct them with things that were said. This week, I'm not correcting them. That one comment that was sitting on my page is gonna sit there. The sad part is I don't have problems with Beverly Biggs herself. Beverly has always called me for anything, and I'm gonna be there. And it's the same, and I'm gonna continue. And when her daughter has called me, I have been there. And if she needed me for something else, but we need to stop because the Neely people don't fight. They don't fight. She's called me in October. Nell has, and to put that comment on my page and want me to comment, it shouldn't have been done. She got my phone number. She's called me for several different things. I'm not going to put up the text messages, but she's got them in hers. Call me. We got to stop putting everything and fighting. Neely is not fighting in public if they're not getting along. They're not fighting in public. Call me. Because each time they've called for something that's happened, and there's a list of stuff, I was supportive. But when you get people who are divisive, I'm not running for nothing right now. But what I wish the time that they spent talking about me, they talked about something positive about Beverly Biggs leaving. We got a chance to change things. That's who they're people that they're supporting. There's the people who are supporting AC Dumas. I am friends with both. I want to see them both succeed and to go through. I want to, and that was the agreement. You and I talked about that, and that you had stated that also. But it makes it when these other groups get into this, and it makes it mess. You do not see Neely and them arguing, making up stuff. I don't care that these people don't like me. But what I do care about is you got two people who we have a chance. And let me be clear, I have not asked nobody for, I didn't ask Beverly for nothing. I ain't asked AC Dumas for nothing. Now, who they gonna get on there and work with, that's their business. But I know that I can't see her working with Liddell, Candace, Judy, or Leon. If she needed my help, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna help her to make sure I'm gonna carry her, to give her the knowledge that she needs. You know, when we share what we have, we make our community better. Like you are sharing the water. People don't understand where we came from. Why you get angry. You get angry because when you talked about your auntie with the screams and the pain was so bad that she could do nothing but to holler out in pain. People don't understand that you are very touchy about this subject because nothing is being done at the pace that it should be done. And if this was a white community, all the service lines would be fixed. Indoor plumbing would be fixed. They don't understand what your fight is. And so that is the part.
And here's the sad part, right? I mean, everything that you said has so many different off ramps to it, and you can go down these off ramps, and everybody talking about unity. All right, let's start right there.
What is unity for you?
I don't unity for me, right? Is calling
as an individual.
All right, as an individual. I'm gonna give you the example of what unity is. Unity is fighting for something that we all want together, right? So example, we want the 5th vote on city council. I called Ms. Biggs and I called AC Dumas. I know that I have a huge following. So I told Ms. Biggs, I said, we have to at least get you and AC Dumas as the top 2 vote getters. I said, Ms. Biggs, I'm not going to say anything about John, Jedediah Brown, anybody, because they are affiliated and associated with you. And if I do that, if I talk about them and I said, you know, I hate John, I can't stand John, but I'm not going to speak about it.
John probably doesn't like you either. So yeah.
And in fairness, and see, I'm not going to cuss on your platform, but I would tell you what I really feel about him. Truly. But at the same time, in order to get Ms. Biggs where we need to get her to, I didn't do it and I won't do it. And I touched on it because he said something. And I told Ms. Biggs, tell your people to chill out and don't speak about AC Dumas, because I'm supporting AC Dumas. And I have my reasons why I'm going to support AC Dumas. And that's what democracy is. Democracy is you can support whoever you like. But at the same time, if we're trying to fight for a cause, I don't have to like you to stand with you for something that we both want, period. I told Ms. Biggs this. I said, hey, we're not going to talk about each other. We're not going to talk about anybody that supports somebody else. All of us need to just chill out. We don't need to talk about that. But see, here's the problem with that. In order to be able to get views, shares, and all this other stuff, if you're monetizing your podcast, you got to have content. So you can't be boring. So you got to constantly create drama in order to be able to sell. Yeah. And right now it's either I sell out to people or I get this money for my podcast. It's one of the two. So I'm selling the people out by going after people that's working, trying to get this 5th vote with lies. And it's upsetting that people doing that. Yeah. It's really upsetting.
So I think that when we look at this, I take time in my content. I'm true to my community. You and I don't agree a lot, and I hang up on you, you'll hang up on me. But it is the love for the city. And when I called you and said, "Look, you feel like a superhero today. You got your superhero cape on." you know, And because I did not know in my moment of when I got a call that I knew I had to go to a medical emergency for my mother, that I called you, and I was mad at you at the time. We hung up. You hung up. I don't know what we were mad about, but it was a disagreement. It was over something political, and I don't remember what it was, but I know that
I told you that I didn't agree with your vote. Something. It was something on council. I wanted you to do a press conference. You and I asked you and Jerry. I said no. I asked you, would you get Dennis Pfeiffer and Jerry together and do a press conference on the budget, because Neely was going to try to get in front of y'all if y'all voted against the budget. If they didn't have the vote for the budget and the city is shut down, you had already educated the public on why you all are voting against it, because it's not a balanced budget. It's $68 million and our revenue is only 64 million. And by y'all educating and putting it in programming the community and letting them know that y'all are getting ready to do this, Neely and his 4 horsemen, well, 3 horsemen and a moose. I can't say that, can I?
No, you can't.
I'm sorry. I won't say anything else like that. They won't be able to, because they used the press against y'all. They didn't weaponize the press too. And that's what I was mad at you about. And I mean, not mad, but I was upset. And because we got to going back and forth, and you hung up on me. And I didn't appreciate that neither.
Thank you. I really didn't, because what I always tell you, with me and Danielle, you get elected. See,
now we're going there. Now we're going there. All right. See. Hey, listen.
Me and Danielle was arguing with us. And we lit you up that day, though. Me and Danielle lit you up.
Yeah.
And so
y'all got me.
And so you always call and you'll say to me, and I'll say to you, you're like, well, you need to do this. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not your council person. Call Adele Lewis. And that's what I do tell you.
No, don't. Hey, y'all, listen. She ain't telling y'all the truth, right? She telling you the truth, but she omitting some of the other stuff.
What part am I omitting?
The language.
Oh,
don't try to make it sound like it's nice.
It's rough. It's look. It's rough, y'all. I mean, I say it's rough, and it's funny because even with him, you can tell. And I'll be like, Art has been Woodson has been very open with sharing that he has PTSD. He's been very open that the things that he goes through or his emotions. So I have, unfortunately, I told y'all I involuntarily have been to therapy with him. What am I?
You should have been on the phone. You should have been on the phone at the time.
Nobody wanted to talk to you at the VA. They was like, I said, how many therapists have you had? You said, I went through all of them. I was like, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. So I had to understand where that was, where you were coming from. And I have told you, you have made it difficult for me to stay in your life at times, because the friendship that we have is based on love, and that is our foundation. Our foundation is that. And I end up in therapy. So
who said this? Who said it's based on love?
I'm saying that it is, and you're going to say that too.
My fault, man. My fault. Hey, no, Tonya. No, Tonya. No, I can't let you get away with this. No. You. How can I say this? You are a feminist, and you be taking especially if the woman is wrong. You and a couple of other people then jumped on me, even though the woman is wrong. Y'all took that woman's side.
Yeah,
y'all took the woman's side, and we be going back and forth. even though it's nothing major, even though it's nothing major, it was political. It was political,
So
and
hold on. So you have this Brandon Harmon on here, and I'm gonna tell you, Brando Harmon. If I open up my mouth and start telling stuff, and that is what they don't want me to do. So whoever your person is, your candidate, you might need to stop. Y'all block him because I'm not doing anybody's BS today. Because like I told people, y'all really don't understand. You don't. You really, really don't. I don't do the drama, but people who lie about the drama, that's what they do. If you have a question for me or whatever, I will deal with it. I don't have to like you to work with you. That is just how I feel and who I am. But I want to be very clear on that. And so what they keep trying to do is attach my name to stuff that's not true. So Mark Hutchinson, you made the comment that you cannot have two candidates. Neely has two. It is very clear that they are supporting Rich Jones along with along with LaShawn. They are supporting too. We know that people think that Rich Jones does not have a better chance, but that's who he's speaking. And you look at how he's attacked everybody that Neely has a problem with. So when you say splitting the votes, and I'm gonna tell you, Mark Hutchinson, it's a lot of things that you do not know on the other side. I'm gonna remain when it says to when I support Beverly, despite all the stuff that they keep doing. I support her. I support her, and I support AC Dumas. So
Tonya,
what?
hey Tonya, you have to let them know. That's how you know when it's somebody from out of town. They don't understand that we have a nonpartisan city council and mayor, and it's the top two. It's like a runoff down in Louisiana, where if you don't get over 50% of the vote down in Louisiana, this is Louisiana where they have runoff. If you don't get over 50% of the vote, the top two people go and they have a general election. Here in the city of Flint, we have a nonpartisan where the top two people in the primary go to the general election. The reason why we say that we want Dumas and Miss Biggs is because if we go against one of them, it doesn't matter if we go for Miss Biggs or Dumas. The problem here is we shouldn't be bad mouthing either one. We should be trying to get both so that Neely won't have two shots at winning that fifth vote. If you can get Neely's person out in the primary, you don't have to worry about the general election, who is the fifth vote.
So, and that part is key, but the focus should not be, I'm not running for anything. Producer Jay, I would love to have seen, the positivity, because she is connected with the podcast that I call him, that is a menace to society. But she's done some great things. Like she had she had two community events. She had the one with the bounce house, and I showed up. I was there. So when people talk about the Tonya Burns don't show, I show up. She also had her campaign kickoff at the Quorum. I was there. I think were you there too? Did you go?
Who?
To the campaign kickoff?
Who? Me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So I was at the campaign kickoff. Her bounce house one where she had a community, where she had the kids. Producer Jay. Yep. There we go. Engaging kids in our community. These were some kids. The little Spider-Man guy, I believe, is her little nephew, or he's related to her. And you see Miss Biggs. This is in the 3rd ward. This is me and her there. So, when I say what I do, I say what I do. But people don't know the back end. But the people that you see, but there are people in the back end that we have some conversations that they need to stop. And they do. So this was her. She had a beautiful event where they had 2 bounce houses, and there was this one child. God, which one is the one that was turning his head, who was kind of cutting up in the bounce house, and they told him he couldn't get back in. He went home and changed his shirt, and like it's a different look, so he can get back in the bounce house. And so, when he did this, the kid got back in. John told me, you can get back in the bounce house, because he was like, well, I want to play. But he calmed down. So she had a beautiful event. She had chicken, she had hot dogs, Polish sausage, I think hamburgers, and she had juices, food, bounce houses. There was a DJ. And this was for the community, because no one goes to our public housing. These kids don't see hope. Them kids played so much, they were tired. They were tired. And so when we look at that, and we look at, how do we engage, we got to start coming together. This is what my unity is. I could have came on my podcast and got very nasty, okay? And I chose not to. And I asked you not to, Woodson. I asked
I ain't going with that. I won't show up. Hey, listen, let me say something to you, Tonya Burns. Councilwoman Burns. Yeah. What is this? Is this Council Tonya Burns Show or Tonya Burns Show? Are you in your capacity? Because I'm getting ready to unload on you. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Hey, no, seriously though, Tonya, I didn't call you a couple of times, and I said, Tonya, don't even respond. I said, don't even give it any legs, because if you talk about it and you say names, you send people love drama, and you send the people over there to see what the other person has said. So I call you and I say, hey, I wouldn't even address that until it gets some legs, and then I address it. Everything I don't respond to, just like my man that rollerblades, Daisy Dukes, and halter top.
We are not going to sell him on here today, okay?
Anyway, my thing is, you can't work with everybody, Tonya. I'm going to give you a prime example. When people come in from out of town, I don't just jump and work with them, because they might have some hidden agendas, and they might have some hidden stuff that we don't know anything about, because we don't know them because they're not from here. I'm gonna give you an example. You want a example that's up to date, or do you want something in the past? Sir Major is in the past. What's to do?
Yeah, Black Lives Matter.
Here's the question though. Name, I can't remember his name, but I found out, I got a phone call. The dude that Liddell Lewis and Chelsea Brown and some other people was pushing down at city council, that was working with the youth, the refurbished, that's under investigation right now. Huh?
Eric Elgerson, YTD. He's with Saginaw. He was in Flint.
Man, listen. Yeah, and everybody was like, oh, Art, you should work with that guy. Oh, Art, you this. Oh, Art, this. Listen, I'm not feeling this guy. It's not in my spirit to work with him.
Producer Jay, he is not cooking on here. Not happening. Please, no, not doing it. I'm not.
What happened? What happened?
Let him cook for 1 minute. Absolutely not.
Let him what?
Tell us let him cook. Nope.
Let who cook?
You. Look, we will be banned because your cooks, you got to take the videos down and everything else.
What is let our cook? What is that? What that mean?
That means you get to cuss everybody out.
Don't
get your cuss out is like you buried 6 feet under, but you go about 12 feet because you want to beat them down an extra 6. So you go way too far.
Yeah,
so
you don't take prisoners.
AC Dumas and Beverly Biggs are welcome to come on. I have not had anybody on my show. Anybody. Art, what I'm dealing with my mother. I don't share all that ain't for everybody. It is not my job. If you want to come on, you call me. Beverly never called and Dumas never called. Neither one called to ask me to come on. So I did ask her. And she said, yeah. I said, when you want to come on? She said Saturday. Okay. Because I want to highlight. And I asked Dumas too. So anytime they both want to come on, absolutely, I'm going to bring them on. But let's put a pin in. Producer Jacobs, this is what should have been played Friday. Can you put there's a little video I sent you. Can you play that video, please?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Thank you. And let them cook. Man, you're gonna get my whole show taken down.
Hey, hey. Super J know how to bleep.
It'll be one big long bleep then.
Hey, we need a 5-second delay. So Super J can
you just go.
Hey,
go
you know it's hurting me right now. That's why I keep on moving around because
I know, but look, I'm sending some love. Bird baby.
Man, I don't want no love. Hey.
Put in about 50 ones. My family is here, okay, and my mama watching right now. Okay,
and she probably was. Hey, Tonya, yeah. Your mom. Listen. What is it, Miss Burns?
No, her last name is Port.
Miss who?
Port.
Port, right. Miss Port. The way Tonya dad cusses, it wouldn't be nothing new. Hey, man, you talking about some bleeps? I was on the phone with him one day. Lord have mercy. I was like, he need to quit cussing all the time.
And my daddy watching all the council meetings, and it'd be ugly in them comments. It'd be ugly.
Hey, but you know what though, Tonya, this is no lie. I put you and Miss Biggs on my live because you knew I was live. You know I had my phone out at
okay, hold on. All right. This part. Okay, this is what I would like to have been seen. Let's play the video.
What is this?
One thing I can say about
this is her
not only will she say what she's gonna be about, she gonna do what she said. She's gonna be able to win this. We're gonna back her up. We gotta make sure she have the resources to get the word out. I say Biggs, you say Beverly Biggs. Beverly Biggs.
We need to change this city. We have crooked people in them seats. And unless we change them seats, we're going to be having the same thing. I am here to represent the 3rd Ward. If I have to go out and knock on doors again, we're going to work in one block at a time. Okay? We're going to see what the people want and what the people need, not taking it and putting it in our pocket, trying to make us look big. I don't want to be big. I want to be small. I want to represent for the people. And that's what I'm here to do. All right.
Now, Tonya. Now you know, me and that brother.
I know y'all, I know y'all.
But listen, Tonya. This dude spoke out and lied on Pastor Thompson, man.
Okay, hold
you know what I'm saying? And you know,
hold on.
You just took me from up here to where
you're looking at. He was MCing. That was for last.
But what I'm saying, he MCing, but MCing or not, to go on a show or go on your own podcast and say Pastor Thompson is a drug dealer.
Hold on.
And then for other people. And for other people who know Pastor Thompson,
I'm not doing that because her thing was her message, and we are here to be with AC.
But how can you hear the message? How can you hear the
video?
And see, that's what I mean, right? That's what I mean. All right, but check this out.
The message.
But check this out, Tonya.
Her speaking. That was a video that she had from last year. My point is this: she needed to show. For me, that was the positive. Don't buy into the other stuff.
All right. So if you put her up with 810 Media right now, right, you're not gonna hear the message because of the simple fact of the people who's MCing for her. My point that I'm making is that's the reason why I said, Miss Biggs, your people shouldn't be talking, or you should tell your people not to talk about others because you can't hear her message because of the people that she has around her. I couldn't hear her message. I didn't even want to hear a message because my man went out against Pastor Thompson. And that's the point that I'm making about Miss Biggs.
This is not about Pastor Thompson right now. You have talked about it, and I have. This is not about Pastor Thompson. And Pastor Thompson won't want his name in this right now. He's not going to want his name because this is messy right now. He don't want. We talk about the two candidates. You can talk about that to Pastor Thompson's issue and Bishop Trotter. That's a separate issue. Right now, we talking about Beverly and AC Dumas.
And we're talking about the people around them.
No.
And we're talking about
no.
I mean, Tonya, that's just like you. That's just like you talked about the people that was talking about you.
Listen, they don't like me over there. They lie.
They don't like me.
And I'm okay.
They don't like
that.
me.
But that does not. I get what you're saying.
They don't like me.
People you surround.
Jedediah Brown don't like me.
No,
you know what I'm saying? And just like you spoke, just like man, he did a whole damn podcast about me and Pastor Thompson.
You dragged him too. You dragged
No,
him.
I did not drag him. I said, if you come into this city, understand the city. Just like he said, he got misinformation. You don't know the players in the city.
Look at
but Tonya,
nobody want to hear that right now.
Who? Say what?
Because
Look at what?
It's not about Pastor Thompson. So listen.
I'm not saying Pastor Thompson. I was speaking about the message.
Then you talk about Beverly and you talk about AC Dumas.
I'm speaking about the message.
What do you want to see them bring to council if they're elected?
And that's what I'm saying. That's what everybody should have been talking about instead of each other.
Okay, but what can they bring? You talked about 5 votes. What will a 5th vote bring?
And you know what AC Dumas is bringing. AC Dumas been the city council ever since Moses crossed the Red Sea.
Parted the sea, crossed it. He
crossed it, parted,
right?
Split it, whatever you want to call it. You know?
And we'll quote Bible scriptures.
Right. I mean, you know, and like I said, man, it's just different stuff that goes on that, you know, we speak about this, we speak about that, then we can't speak about this, we can't speak about that. In order to be able to get where we need to be at, you know, things has to be said that might be painful, that might be hurtful, whatever the case may be.
So here, I'm gonna throw something out. I don't know if it would ever happen. If there was ever someone who probably more than one person, where we bring everybody to the table to talk, would you ever be at that table to talk?
So what?
If we ever had bring the people that there were issues with to
Hell
talk.
No.
Okay.
Hell no.
Okay. So okay, so you would not. So
no.
Okay. So
no, you know, okay. the thing here is that I have time with people here in Flint.
Yeah, but you missing the point. We cannot.
Can I finish?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have time with people here in Flint. For new people coming about, I don't have time with you. And when it's something that goes real deep, I don't know you in the first place. So I don't want to know you because it wouldn't have been like that.
No, I'm not letting you talk, Art, because this is not about that. This is about
who? I'm just talking about people. You asked me what I said at the table.
You generalizing about?
Tonya, I'm talking about everybody. I'm speaking in general.
To solve the problems, you would not.
I'm not, and I'm telling you, I just like I told you earlier. If you talk to a person I don't like, I don't care. And I was just speaking in general. You asked me would I sit at the table. I'm telling you that I don't sit down at tables or nothing else. If I get into it with a person that I don't know, I don't sit at the table. Okay. I won't sit down with them.
Well, you know what Million has done? LaShawn was recalling Liddell Lewis, and now Liddell is supporting her.
You know what? I never
recall. And now
you know what? They call me.
They're moving together.
Guess what, Tonya? They called me and said, Art, Neely just wanted us to test the water to see where you would be at. Neely got some money to give to your cancer study. I said, man, and I can't cuss, but never, ever will I ever sit down with Neely at a table or stand with him on a stage. I don't care how much money he has. I will never.
Okay, I'm not. My mother watching this, and this to me we need to talk about, because the election is May 6th. You got 4 people in this race. Election is May 6th, Tuesday, May 6th. The focus is about the third ward, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So I cannot. I'm not gonna be able to pull you back off of that right now, and I know that you didn't got. I know
you
that.
know what? I gotta go do this. I gotta go do this.
But I love you, and I'm gonna
love
let
you.
you
Love you to death.
off. I'm a producer that
All right,
dropping. Goodbye. Listen, so I do want to say this, and I'm gonna remain on what I said. He has his own show. I'm not doing the negativity. I ain't got to defend myself because my work speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. And I do want to show producer Jay, can you put up the flyers? Oh, Lord Jesus. So the issue with him and Pastor Thompson, I've addressed. Pastor Thompson did not sell dope, never sold it. I'm gonna leave it to the men to work out because I didn't create that. Pastor Thompson has served his community honorably and faithfully. He has served his community. Bishop Trotter spoke to the issue at St. Mark, and that's between Bishop Trotter and him. It is not between Tonya Burns. I'm not in that equation. I am not in that equation. So listen, if you can hit $ Cash App, producer J 1987. 1987. 1987. Because we are going to thank you, Patrick Jean, for putting that up there. $ producer J 1987. Tip the producer. For those of you who have given, I appreciate that. I truly appreciate that. So one of the things, I clicked that off by accident. Producer Jay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Can you put up, or did you get the ones where there's 3 different flyers? Listen, y'all, it's down at the crawl. If you could please support producer Jay. The Cash App number is down at the bottom. Okay, so here's where some of the confusion came in. Originally, there was a town hall. The town hall had Jedediah's picture. He was giving it. April 14th at the Club Quorum on Saginaw Street. This was it. You see it highlighted. It was a town hall. And it was with Jedediah. So can we do the second flyer? Please. So then the second one, and it shows up here that it was being sponsored by 810 News Media Group. Same date, April 2nd, Club Quorum. You see Jedediah on here with Winters. We actually shared this on our show. We shared it on our show on end of March, whatever it was. We shared it on the show. I asked people to attend it. And so April, so here it goes. Sunday Night Live with Tonya Burns. It shows I'm sharing this. I am not being the divide. I don't deal with, I don't deal with the garbage, but I'm going to put the facts down here so all of you can see it. So I shared it because he was coming here. I support each person that came. So it went from a town hall to a candidate forum. Michael Clack had a forum on Thursday. This flyer changed 5 days before the actual date, I couldn't come anyways. So you see Sunday Night Live, I shared the show. I did not tell people to not come. I did not, because I shared it on my show, my voice. Go back and look at the video. So they need to stop lying, which is dividing this community. They need to stop it. I shared it. That's me. There's the flyer. And it's Sunday night. It's on there. I didn't tell nobody not to come. They need to stop the lying, you know. And so where was I at? Can you put the last thing up? Can you put that up? Producer Jay. I was at the budget hearing. I was at the budget hearing, and it was police and fire. Jedediah slipped in for a minute. So the town hall turned candidate forum was on 4/2. This is the official live from the Flint City Council meeting. 4/2/25, official Flint City live stream. Y'all can go look it up. I was there at the budget hearings asking for a gang task force, asking the fire chief, what are we doing? Leave that up, please. You see the arrow, Jedediah slipped in and slipped back out because he had his town hall. He had his town hall. If y'all didn't hear it from me, y'all better stop believing these folks. Y'all stop believing it. So I'm at the budget hearing where Chief Green said he didn't need a task force. We had one. Asked them about the pay. You know, what are we doing about the pay? I was at the budget hearings. So I couldn't go to if it was the town hall. I couldn't go to it if it was a candidate forum, because I had as my elected seat a responsibility to be at the budget hearing, because I have always asked for a comprehensive public safety plan with a gang task force. Because in my world, if we had one, we had over 10 kids shot last year. Guess what? That might not have happened. And so when they go to attack my work with what I'm doing and my passion for the community with lies, I shouldn't have. I'm going to keep correcting their lies, because I'm not going to let you get a lie on me, get legs, and let it run. I'm not going to do it. So I shared it at the forum. I couldn't go. So if you don't have people at your forum, don't blame me. You got to look at yourself within. Look at yourself. I shared it and I supported it. And so y'all got to stop looking and believing the lies. Now, I am done with that, with the housekeeper. I'm very sorry that Beverly did not. She chose to not come, but it is. I told her and Jedediah this morning when they called me, she's welcome to come back. And I told Arthur Woodson this morning, and then AC, they're welcome to come anytime. I haven't did any candidate forums because y'all know what? I've been trying to take care of me. Okay. I try to take care of me and my mother, and I'm a mother 3 children. So this is, I just want people to, get out to vote. When you say you want change and then you sabotage and not me, when these candidates are attached to whomever. If I run for something, I'm hanging with Charles Manson, they're going to think I'm a crazy person. And you got to be careful who you hang with, who you associate yourself with. I want these two to move together. I'm going to stand on that. I'm standing on that. And I did not. I have not changed. I know AC Jones is kind of mad at me because I have said I felt that the election, Beverly Biggs was robbed. They didn't certify it. He has contended and stated to me, precinct 10, there were disenfranchised voters, that they didn't have the vote correct, and precinct 10, and they didn't. He is correct on that. He is correct on that. And I think he's a little upset with me. But AC Dooms, I love you too. Beverly Biggs, I love you too. So as I'm in church worshiping and having a good time sitting next to her, that mess was put up on my Facebook, and I didn't respond. I'm like, you know what? I'm done with that. I want these things to work out. And precinct 10 was a problem because I went in there. I went over there because I was supporting Carol against Leon, and it was a big problem coming out of precinct 10. I called the county clerk and I called the city clerk. The county clerk, thank you, county clerk, Dominique Clemens came over, and he had to give them like a quick course on how to register people. Give them a course. I'm like, wow, what about voter education? And so it was a problem. People were being turned away and leaving. So precinct 10 was an issue. It was, but the final count that they posted was 540, 589 for Beverly Biggs and 548 for AC Dumas. So the part that people think and want to spread division, you're not dividing me. I'm gonna keep picking up, putting down the truth, which I hope people will pick up the truth and carry the truth than all this other nonsense. So when people say, hey, we can't do or support two, it is traditional that you put more than one person in the race so that you get a better chance. It's always done that way. I ain't putting nobody in the race. I'm friends with both of them. And it is what it is, but I get AC Dumas. I get him being upset because I have stated and contended that. I get that election, but we have had election problems. But my love for both of them is sincere and genuine, and my care for them and for both of them if they call me. And it was funny because we were at the AC Dumas is a very formal person, y'all, literally, and formalities for him mean a lot. The process, and I told him, I said, "Ooh, that wasn't done." I said, Deacon Dumas gonna be giving him a call, and it's just, we know who some people are, and he is who he is. They're both running, and I wish them both the best of luck. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And the same with Beverly. It's the same thing with her. I mean, you spending time, let's highlight what they're doing and what they're gonna do. I told people when I ran what I was gonna do. I told people how I was going, what I was doing, and I haven't stopped. Because when I look, and I'm gonna tell you something, I was with my sister came over. She drove here from North Carolina. She says, "Time, I just seen a dead body." I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "And my sister ain't never on time, y'all. She kind of like my mama, and she like Carol. Carol, the person to show up to church and ain't got but one shoe. But I love Carol. Somebody got shot on Park Forest, and I believe Sister Audrey Muhammad lives over there. And so there was a young man that was shot. We don't see it on the news, no place. And she didn't make it there to maybe 10. No, is it 10? Maybe 10. And so when we talk about what people do and what their passion is, I want a comprehensive public safety plan. That budget here, when we would have only had, if all 8 showed up, we would have had a total of 10 minutes apiece. But because they didn't, y'all, I got a total of 20 minutes to ask questions. 2 rounds of 10 minutes. It was ludicrous. That's ludicrous for all the problems that we have. So we don't see where somebody was shot. We don't see that. We don't. Hey, our producer Jay, I need to pause for about 30 seconds. Producer Jay didn't play the commercial, y'all. So listen, when I ran,
I started to, but I said I'm gonna leave it that one alone this time. My bad.
Okay, no problem. So when I ran, this was my one of my mailers. And so Councilman Mays came up with my thing. Burns you up. He's like, that burns me up. And so we would talk late at night. And so I took what I was passionate about and turned my passion into the, I could go make a whole lot of money someplace else. I could, but I want to see others have a better life. And this is a whole conversation I had with my uncle last night to 3-something in the morning. And so and it's at the bottom of this, at that point, and I put the facts on there, y'all. So I'm not just starting to put the facts are on there. And then I'm going to show y'all the back. And so the facts at that time was homicides in Flint were up 40%. Crime stat 9/22/21. Flint had 61 homicides in 2020. 61 homicides in 2020, 52 homicides in 2021, which equals 113 homicides. I have Flint deserves better. Lawlessness and shootings are out of control. It's time to have a city council person that works for us. Y'all, that was then. I'm still doing the work because this is what I can. My kids are fine, but are your kids, nieces, and nephews fine? Those are the ones I'm worried about. So on the back, some of the stuff to show that I've been working on and didn't stop. Y'all know we was club smoking. Now Stephanie would laugh because Tony was kind of mad at me that day. I told him, quit cutting it out, Tony. We had all kind of shootings and firing off firearms. Got that cleaned up. Y'all, right here on this one, I don't know if y'all can see, the man in the plaid shirt is Councilman Mays. He was there praying on his knees. I had a community prayer, but we have to not just pray. Faith without works is dead. We got to do the work. And I am tired of the people who I don't see doing no work, criticizing those who are doing the work. And so we look out, that's my son. He's now grown, y'all. That's him at one of the protests that he was at in his little Flint hat. He is now going to University of Michigan. He wants to be a cardiologist. That's the baby, the last of them. And so I'm not fighting for just, I'm fighting for y'all kids. And the part is that with this community, because I deal with facts, these are facts. And we got to turn this the other way. And I'm going to keep fighting for it. I could care less about what the menaces to society are saying because they don't deal in facts. Until we start listening to the people who care and saying, not just because I know your last name or what you say you're going to do, stop electing people that you see that do nothing. Stop it. Primaries are important because if you don't get to the primary, then you don't make it to the general. And we got to start saying that these kids who are dying, straw guns, ghost guns. There is somebody in this community, used to be, and I had a whole conversation with my uncle from New York last night. And we're talking about how these guns get in our community with the serial plate number, with no serial numbers. Well, they come in pieces and they put them together. Doesn't take much skill to put them together. And boom, you have a gun with no serial number. And they're the guns that, that you see. A straw gun is where someone who is legally can buy a gun and then they, give it to their cousin and then claim that they lost the gun. I'm telling y'all, that's how it works. I dealt with the young man. He had 9 guns and he got in a whole bunch of trouble. And he come calling me and saying, look, Miss B. He said, I need some help. And we had a long talk. And when I trace it back, this young man, when the streets was taken, he was 26 then. He's not anymore. He's in his 30s now. And I think about 33 now, 34. The same age as my daughter. And so it was his childhood. And he had an issue with his mother. Father was missing. And the streets gave him love when the community didn't give him love. And so that's why when I see these young people, I give them love. The young man, I'm going to call his name, Michael Wallace, who came and said, some weren't looking at me when he stepped to the podium, and some was on their phone. And when he got done speaking, I went down, he extended his hand. I introduced myself. I said, no. I'm hugging you because I'm transferring what I feel in my heart to you by hugging you. And when I hugged him, he said, I needed that. I didn't know that he needed. When we show our community love, they're going to give it back. Mercedes is teaching these young girls who be stopped. We don't, instead of stopping at the stoplight, twerking and doing sexy red and us thinking that everything is so sexual, love your body is what she's saying. Have some grace teaching our young ladies about class, because as we don't like it, what they tell you, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife when you're ready for a housewife. You can't. And so when we get in this learning is so important. So I'm not talking about what I'm going to do. I'm talking about what I've been doing. And then you can take my record on back even further when I ran my business full time. Every home that Habitat for Humanity put in during, I forget the years, I put in a free security system because victims of domestic violence don't want the perpetrator to get them. Give them some. I would put in a whole security system for them for free, and then pay the monitoring for 3 years out of my pocket. Okay, so everything that I do and what I do for my community, I need the community to start supporting and speaking up. Quit accepting all this trash, these trash people, and all this stuff, because it's a problem. We got kids dying. Somebody died last night. A victim of a gunshot wound. Let that sink in. Me and Chief Green, I met when I asked him how many gunshot shootings or people calling in. He said, every day. He said, Tonya, every day somebody would get calls in from 911 that it is a shooting. Now, this is coming from Chief Green. Me and Chief Green have not always been adversaries, because he'll say, no, I listen to what you're saying, and you're right. He does do self-criticism, but then he shoots it back at me too, and together we, I wish Chief Green was more aggressive, and right now I'm on him. But I think that we have to start saying, quit giving people passes because I know you. I don't give you passes because I know you. I don't do that. And I want my community to hold me responsible for the truth, because I hold myself responsible. As I talked about on my Tuesday show about Beverly, they knew what that video was for. It was for the trash can. I told her, if you need to go back to court, I have no problem speaking up, because I'm going to tell my truth. Why would I sabotage her? Beverly called me for anything. Wherever I'm at and she needs something, guess what she do? She show up. If I'm at my house, if I'm at City Hall and I need to do something for her, or at my mother's house, she comes over there where I'm saying, girl, where you at? And I'm going to continue to be there, because that is a part of my community. And it's the same thing for Deacon Dumas. Now, he will call y'all at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, or 4 o'clock. I'm just saying, I will answer the phone, because if you're calling me, you might need me. And I don't want to have to say, I wish I took the call. I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer. So there is no division. I would not sabotage her. Not doing that. Me and her sat together. I was sore the next day. Dink Sosa Thomas, I thought I was at the club. Don't play with me in the Lord. Don't do that one. My mother used to say, oh, maybe you're going to grow up. My daddy do cuss a lot. My mother would be like, oh, baby, you're going to, when you grow up, you'll be a pastor's wife. I said, no, I won't. Nope. And I'm going to tell you why. One, I like to have cocktails, and I cuss when I'm mad. I'm too passionate. And the restraints for a pastor's wife would never be for me. That was because my mother and my Aunt Dorothy, Carol Mama, listen, the sisters in Christ, I like to, I may have a little foul language at times. I don't want to have that expectation that I have to maintain. And I don't use first lady or whatever. I say pastor's wife. Everybody in skip pastor and reverend. Everybody now is a bishop. Everybody is a bishop now. I'm like, what happened to the pastors and the reverends? And Denise Moore, if you're still on here, Dr. Reverend Daniel Moore, I mean, he is a doctor now, is a reverend. I don't know if he's a bishop yet, but you don't see reverend. He's the last reverend. You don't get a lot of reverends. Everybody want to be a bishop. So that just is what it is. So what I want for my community is we have to work together on level. I don't have to like you to work with you. Simple as that. There may be times, and I've told y'all, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna meet with Neely. I have not met with him, but if there's an act of God and he says, okay, I'm going to try to do things right. Okay, but let's see what you're talking about. I may have to meet with him. Haven't met with him since Whittaker, and it didn't go very well. It didn't go very well at all. But I'm not going to say that what I'm not going to do, because I didn't deal with far worse people than the mayor of this city. I have in business. Far worse. Far worse. So I stayed on here much longer than I wanted to today. So listen, if y'all could donate, we can't even do no call in. I don't think we have time, but administration. He been dropping. Look, he done dropped some quarters and dollars now. Look, I see. Missy, they need to come at every single meeting. Folks are not arguing. Remember last week, Dennis dropped some dimes on Nita's administration. This is another distraction. Absolutely, it is. Absolutely, it is. So until y'all hear from me that I'm not supporting Beverly Biggs or AC Dumas, don't y'all believe it. Start calling people out on their garbage and their mess. Got time for all of that. I'm supporting her. Showed you her video. And the people that's supporting her, the Menace to Society, should be playing all her positive stuff, talking about what she's doing, that she was there. Them little kids was they loved her. She looked. They say she was the popsicle lady back in the days. And Miss Beverly had the food. Them kids were so happy that she had that there. Giving those kids hope, because guess what? Nothing ever goes out to the public housing. Nothing. Those are the forgotten kids. Ain't nobody taking them kids, out to the little bounce place on Miller Road. Nobody is. So we have to understand that in our community, you got to save one, love one, hug one. And that is what we got to do. And so I'm going to leave on this. Tip the producer. I don't care what they say about me. You didn't make me and you can't break me. You didn't make me and you can't break me. And if you want look, reach one, touch one. That's right, Carol. Reach one. Listen, put the positive quotes up in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. Because we're going to cast this mess up out of here. Put the positive quotes up in there. Councilman Burns, the more you give, the more God will give to you. Remember that. Oh, thank you. Y'all just don't know what a sister be going through. I broken more deals with God. I'm like, God, I need you to cover this for me. And I promise to continue to lead, fearlessly and boldly through my community, to not leave my community voiceless. Voiceless. My mother got mad at me, literally, when I went over there to Hasselbrink. I was at her house and she was like, you got your shoes on in my house? You got your shoes on? I was like, Mom, her carpet is white in her bedroom. And I said, the carpet got to be clean. This was the carpet. You got your shoes on, girl. And I said, yeah, I do. No longer than probably 5 minutes later, Beverly Lewis calls me. And I always look, I got like 25 pairs of shoes around the door and in this living room in this house right now. And I said, she called me and I could hear the despair in her voice. And I could hear those 10 police officers, 10 that they sent. By the way, these nails is, if you want to get them, I'll put up is the nails by Janae Lachey. I forget the name. I'm sorry, Beverly Lewis. Thank you. And thank your daughter for those. But I was at my mother's house and I left. She says, where are you going? She says, you got to quit running like this. And I said, Mom, I'll be right back. And I went there. That's when they had the 10 officers there. You know, I broker deals with God. Now, I didn't know. I'm talking to her on the phone. They didn't tell Beverly Lewis that they was about to start arresting people. Do you know how scared that is? You threatening to be arrested. You ain't never been to jail your entire life. Do you understand what that is? So my mother was, you got to stop this. You got to, my mother did not want me to run. She did not. Because she said they treat your elected officials so bad. So bad. She did not want me. And I said, Ma, I think it's the time in my life that I know that I need to. I said, I just need you and Dorothy. I need Miss Carol Ann and Barbara, Miss Linda to keep me prayed up and cover me in the blood of Jesus. So when I move boldly to not leave my community voiceless, my kids are fine again, but are yours. I want a safe community for every single body when these kids step out this door. I'm fighting for your kids, your nieces, your nephews. Mine are fine. Majority, I just left them even last night. What Mercedes Kinee is doing is teaching something that has been lost. I had a conversation with my uncle last night. Where did we mess up? So I'm gonna take it all back to early 19. It was the silent generation. The next one was the baby boomers. Then it was the Gen X. I'm Gen X. Then it was millennials. Then it is Gen Z. And when we look at all of these things, these generations, he said, my generation, which would be, he said, they failed us. Drugs came into the community. That's the late 60s. Now think about the Black Panthers coming into the community. They was doing free lunches, cooking lunches. Then the government took up giving, because some kids come to school hungry and know they ain't got nothing to eat when they get home. Nothing to eat. And so when we look at this, these are real things that our community has got to come together. They came together to feed our kids, to make sure that every child had a hot breakfast before they went to school. Every child doesn't have a hot breakfast or anything to eat when they get to school. Literally, I used to have a child that when I taught second grade, he never ate and couldn't sleep because he didn't have a bed to sleep in. And the grandmother has so many kids because she was the one, the family had some issues, that she was stable and she was stressed. I would let him sleep. I had food. I don't know, I've told y'all this. Tim Hortons, I used to go every morning to pick up 2 dozen donuts. And the manager asked me one time, he says, look, you here every morning. What are you getting 2 dozen donuts for every morning? And I said, my students. I said, some of them don't have food. And I had juice boxes, my mom, and he said, look, you don't have to pay no more. Every morning, I will have 2 dozen donuts ready for you by 7 a.m. Those are for you to take care of the kids so that they eat, have something. Every morning, Tim Hortons gave me 2 dozen donuts every single morning. And so when we look at what our community do, because everybody, want this, everybody got to drive a Bentley. Everybody got to just, Pastor Thompson drive an Equinox and serves his community. I ain't trying to be shady, because I've always said, y'all, look, I need my pastor to drive a Sabre, because I ain't knocking those who got Bentleys either, but that just ain't for me. And I know that I'm not for everybody either. I am not for everybody. And that's okay. But you're going to be respectful, and I'm going to be respectful to you. That's just going to be the way it is. So when we talk about our community and our kids, like I said, it ain't just what I ran on. Guess who knew crime more than anybody? Me. I owned a first female Black security alarm company. So people were getting homes broken into. I actually worked with Mayor Neely. He asked me, is that how I met him? I think that's how I met him. I knew him before as kids because his uncle Michael was married to my Aunt Jackie. So that, yeah. But we were little kids. And then you kind of, times went apart. But these are real stats, y'all, real stats. And guns are in our community. We're not bringing them in. We didn't bring the drugs in. So how did they fail us? It was the drugs in the community. My uncle said, I have 5 friends 5 friends. He said, and only 2 of us are still alive. He said, the other 3, heroin and the drugs in the community. And so when we don't talk about that, then we have to address the issues. And that is the part where now we got guns. These kids, you know, they call them scammers, guns, money, you know, I don't even know how they scam. I don't even know. Because my kid, I beat the bricks off my child if I ever found out that they were scamming. And I mean that. I beat the bricks off my nieces and nephews if I ever found out. My little nephew, Jalen, wrote a little essay when he was in, and Jalen, good and grown now, he wrote an essay or a short story about his Aunt Tonya. And y'all know I'll cry because I love our younger people. And he said the most formal person that I know is my Aunt Tonya. And my Aunt Tonya, he went on. And it was me giving him structure, but also loving him at the same time. And that is the thing. So my family, we would go down south, slowest caravan in the world, because somebody, they want to stop and that every round stop. And I'm like, I'm gonna stop caravanning because y'all make too many stops for me. But the kids who you think, like the kids who be giving lip to their parents, I want to ride with Tonya. Ain't Tonya, I want to ride with her. Absolutely. But you're gonna sit in that seat, you got some sense. I will reach back and get you. I'll stop that car. Where you cut up is where you're gonna get it at. That's what I live by. So I just hate that we're at, because the focus is not on, we have a fentanyl problem. We have an opioid problem. We have opioid money, no opioid plan. Now on our agenda coming up this Wednesday in finance, they asking for more money from the opioid money. They wanted to spend it. They still ain't have no plan. So if they watching, y'all better get a plan. I want to see a plan, because you patching stuff with no plan. They fired the lady who was working on it, who also got 50 people indoor plumbing. They fired her. Oh God, I can't think of her name right now. But they fired her. But anyways, look, put up the please donate kindly. So if you can please donate kindly to Producer Jay. He ran over. This is Easter weekend. Please kindly donate to Cash App, $ Producer J 1987. 1987. So keep that up while we talk. And so I'm gonna tell y'all, last night, which I was really out to let your girl was tagged. You know, I was whooping it up at church and had a blessed time, and it was anointed. I appreciated the Bishop Trotter speaking, correcting things that weren't, true, and coming together and it was out of love. I appreciate it for Pastor Thompson having that. One of the things I'm doing with my own family, which, we sitting there with the young people, and what we are starting to do with my family is to have and some people do it, but I'm letting the younger folks do it. Look, I am officially, y'all, not in the young group anymore, okay? I was like, oh, I'm not in the young group anymore, because they have families of their own now. They have children. And I said, we're going to do once a month, because I got some folks in my family who did vote for Trump, y'all. And so I'm like, oh, we got to do better. How do we build our bond? And so we in my family will be doing a family Zoom where the kids are around, so that everyone sees that if you are in Tennessee, Arkansas, Georgia, Oregon, Washington, D.C., North Carolina, South Carolina, Chicago, wherever you at in my family, we will be doing a family Zoom, and we set it up like a meeting. But everybody has input, so we are not letting distance keep us. Not at all. We are not. And so doing a better job of us being together and making sure that we are Zooming. And I am being intentional with my family now and my friends. I am being intentional with my attention and time to them. Because if we don't, we can't go back and get that time. We can't. You can't. So set up a family Zoom meeting with your people. Call your people. And I'll post sometimes. I just got up with my mom. It was 3:40, or a.m. because my mama will call me at 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and be like, you sleep? Or she'd be like, hey, that's what she do. And we just, we talk. Me and my mom will talk. We'll watch a doc. We do that because I'm trying to be intentional. I'm working on being better at being intentional in everybody's life because I worked like a dog and making sure I'm there intentional in these space and in these times. And so when people say, oh, but she didn't do that, it's hard to watch my mother go through what she went through. And it's the holidays. My mother did all the cooking. Everything was at our house. Everything. Because my mom is a great cook. And to see she can't do what she used to do, it hurts. So when people be on here just making lies, they need to understand that the other side of Tonya that give you grace, there's one that does not. And I thank God for having a mother and aunties who pray for me because some of this stuff is just crazy. Reach out to your family, set up a free Zoom. I think you can use Zoom for free underneath like an hour. Set it up. Spend some time. Be intentional with the people that you love and care about and spending time. Be intentional with it. So please donate to Cash App Producer J 1987. Please do. Producer J, is there anything you'd like to say?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I want to thank each and every one of y'all.
I would turn my camera on, but I'm in my tank top. Yeah, I know you don't like that tank top.
Not you got a wife beat around. You got a wife beat around. Lord, listen, y'all, join me on this Tuesday coming up on the Flint Urban News Network, where I will be with Sheena B at 8 o'clock. Please join us on that. Me and Sheena B this Tuesday coming up at 8 o'clock. Make sure you support Beverly Biggs and AC Dumas. Let's push this through. Let's stop the division. Let's highlight the positive things that is happening in our community. Love trumps. And I'm going to tell you, Jake was talking. He's the only person I know talk more to me, y'all, for real. Jacob Fella, I'm the rapper, philosopher, book writer.
It's not possible.
Yeah. Yes, it is possible. I'm telling you. But he talks with facts. And so, listen, he had the one part of the conversation was about love. Christine Leach is on the Flint Urban News Network. Flint Urban News Network. Same with Clutching Your Pearls with Mayor Karen Weaver. It is Mayor Karen Weaver's platform. And so as we support, we are growing. It's on that platform. Flint Urban News Network, Black Money Matters. It is over there. So that is where every Tuesday at 8 o'clock, I will be there with Sheena Beckton. So speaking about him, he said, the one thing, time with everything I've seen, he said the one thing that fixes everything is love. Is love. He said that's the one thing that fixes everything is love. And I believe that. And I have to pull back because y'all, I got two said my mama ain't never cussed and the daddy who won't stop cussing. So I'm a cross between both of that. A cross. So what you do this weekend with family, be intentional. Be intentional with your love and with your time. And so I'm being intentional to each and every one of you who donated. I appreciate you. Each and every one of you who wanted to donate could. We appreciate you. Each and every one of you who stayed on here and commented and shared in the process. I appreciate you. And to Producer Jay and to my moderators, Sheena Beckton, Patrick Jean, I appreciate both of you. You guys help me in what I need to do. And to you too, Producer Jay. But without any of you who support this, share the message so that we can stay positive and above the fray. Because we get 5 votes, we can do a whole lot to right ship this community. We can right ship it. So I'm going to send love to each and every one of y'all. Be intentional with who you love, Be intentional with what you do in your deeds, good deeds, good deeds. So, Producer Jay, let's get out of here. From my heart to y'all, enjoy. Happy Easter to everybody. Happy Easter. So let's throw the music down. Where did Producer Jay go? Producer Jay. I'm gonna use that one, Liddy's show. Go to black.
Hold on, we're gonna go out on a different way. Hold on one second.
Okay, let's do it. Y'all, I have no idea what this is. I'm just saying. This was not pre-discussed. It was not pre-discussed at all. Did I ever tell you, Producer, that was on my playlist?
No.
Did I ever tell you that was on my playlist?
No, I don't think so.
It is. I play that almost every day to encourage myself. I do. And then No Weapon Formed Against Me by Fred Hammond. My playlist. And I Smile with Kirk Franklin. And I love the extended version with Hezekiah Walker when he's singing that. It's two other people, but thank you for touching my heart. You touched my heart with that. And I needed that. So to each and every one of you, be intentional with everything that you do. And Producer Jay, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed Easter. And for those who have to come to Tonya cook, I ain't cooking nothing. Okay. I'm gonna show up with whatever mine is non-cooking things I have to bring for Easter. Okay, I ain't cooking. I'm your girl tired. You're tired. Thank you for blessing me with that song. Thank you. And so for those who don't know, it is God Favored Me. It's the song because I have been going through, but I will continue to show up for you. God Favored Hezekiah Walker. Love that song. Love it. Okay, so we out. I'm sending y'all love from me to you. Y'all enjoy it. And thank you. Thank you, Producer Jay. I needed that. Thank you. I'm logging off, y'all.